Yo, what's up, everybody? This is LB back at y'all with another video. Shouts out to the whole LDBC, Lions Den basketball community. Subscribe to the Patreon. Thank you to just got a new subscriber to the Patreon. Brandon Davis. I really do appreciate you for subscribing to the Patreon. Also, shout out to Mafia Daily for subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate it. And let's just get right into this. So, in the aftermath of Hurricane Laura, and before we really get into the nuts and bolts of this video, I wanted to make sure I took the time out to give my thoughts and prayers to anybody that might be affected by this devastating storm. I hope everyone's doing all right. Hope everyone is staying safe. And that particular, those particular events driven me to put out this video. I remember, when I was 10 years old, anybody that lived in South Carolina or anywhere in the Carolinas back in 1989, when Hurricane Hugo struck, and it caused widespread damage throughout the Carolinas. Right. Matter of fact, when I was 10 years old, hell, the damn eye wall came over my house. My grandma was warning people to get back in the house, but everybody just laughed at her, thinking that the storm was over, and the storm wasn't over. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, this after about an hour and a half, this second wave of wind just came out of nowhere, and people like jumping through hoops to get back in that house. Right? It was really, really bad. I've never seen stuff like that. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I mean, because I was living in a second story house, and we had some windows broken, the roof caved in the back, everything. So yeah, man, these hurricanes are no joke. They're no joke. They're not to be, messed with. Shout out to T Join in the building, man. So you already know what it is, man. You already know what's going on, right? So when it comes to hurricane preparedness, right, there's a whole multitude of things that we need to take into consideration, right? Whether it be from an insurance standpoint, we're going to talk about that. Planning, we're going to talk about that. What to do if you're going to ride the storm, right? What to do if you're going to evacuate, right? And the first thing we're going to cover is the insurance part, right? Because you got to have insurance, home insurance, right? But not a whole lot of people know, right? You want to have flood insurance as well, especially if you live in a flood zone, which segues into this, right? Cities that are most vulnerable to hurricanes. So you got your Gulf Coast cities, including you got Houston, you got New Orleans, Mobile, Alabama, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Florida. You also have Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina is below sea level, so any kind of torrential rain or any kind of heavy downpour, you're going to see that part look like an island. Another area that's highly susceptible or highly vulnerable to hurricanes is in Norfolk, Virginia. If you live in Norfolk, Virginia, Virginia Beach, if you live in those areas, then you might be susceptible to hurricanes as well. So it's very important that you get flood insurance, all right? Because even though you have renter's insurance and you have insurance for your house, right? But if you don't have flood insurance and your home is underwater, then you're not going to get your valuables covered, all right? So that's the first thing, right? Which also segues into this, right? So we're talking about what to do if you're going to stay at home. So if you're going to stay at home, right? If you have a home, make sure you have a generator, and make sure that generator generates enough power the way you can have your essential items powered up, right? So make sure you have a generator. If you don't have a generator or can't afford one, make sure you have candles or whatever like that, right? But no, I'm gonna go back to that. Also, you want to make sure that your windows are sealed. Anything that could possibly, have debris flying in, and because the last thing you need to have happen is some kind of debris flying in your house. So, make sure that you have something you can cover your windows. Make sure your door is boarded up. All that good stuff. Um, anything that could possibly go flying in the house, any event that your roof comes off and all that, make sure you got things that you can hit secure in the house, and take cover. You don't want to be anywhere where you can get hit with debris. There's the closet, there's the bathroom. You have secret compartments in your house. You're going to lose power. You're going to lose gas. You're going to lose a whole lot of stuff. So make sure that beforehand, right? You don't want to do this when there's a hurricane watch, and you certainly don't want to do this when there's a hurricane warning. You want to make sure that you have perishables set aside, or non-perishable food items. All right. You want to make sure you stock up on non-perishable food items. All right. You want to make sure you get ice. Make sure you have batteries. Make sure you have water, because I'm telling you right now, water you're not going to have water, because either the water goes out, and then even if you do have water, then you run the risk of the water being contaminated. So make sure you have water readily available. They're one of the first things to go when there's a hurricane watch. Water and batteries are the first thing to go. No other time where you can walk to a store and easily access that stuff when there's a hurricane watch or a hurricane warning. But all the other times throughout the year, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and all that, yeah, you can have water and batteries readily available. But you want to stock up on that stuff before there's a hurricane watch. You want to stock up on non-perishable food items before there's a hurricane watch. So that requires you to do some due diligence and pay attention to, the weather, right? Whether it be looking at the Weather Channel, AccuWeather, shout out to Joshua Cleveland in the building. Whether it be NOAA, the National Ocean. I can't get the word out my mouth, but it means NOAA, NOAA. So, what up, Looted Rider? Also, so when it comes to that, make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have a plan, right? What are you going to do when there's a hurricane watch? Are you if it's a category 2 or below, we're going to ride this out. If it's category 3 or above, you want to get out of Dodge. Oh, also, when it comes to one thing I left out when it comes to insurance. What up, Looted Rider? Looted Rider Sports, right? When it comes to insurance, right? Companies do not give out policies, right? Companies do not give out policies after there's a hurricane watch. Okay, Chris, man, I don't care about that right now, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that. All right, let's stick to the topic on if you don't mind, we can stick to the topic at hand, please. So when it comes to insurance policies, right? A lot of companies will not issue out insurance policies after a hurricane watch, right? Because what was going on is people would get these policies, right? Don't pay them and don't pay the policies or whatever like that. So now you got these a lot of these insurance companies smartening up, and it's like, look, after there's a hurricane watch, we're not issuing out no more policies. So if you know that you don't have a policy and you live in an area that's susceptible to hurricanes, you might want to get on the ball and get your stuff taken care of, right? Shout out to Jeffrey Weaver in the building. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, so if you plan on evacuating, right? Um, if you plan on evacuating, don't do it. Don't wait till there's a hurricane warning before you evacuate, because a couple things gonna come out of you wait till the last minute to try to get out of Dodge. One, um, you're gonna be in a massive traffic jam for one, right? It's gonna be hell trying to get out of Dodge, right? Because everybody and their daddy's trying to get out of Dodge, right? So you got that. Then there's the possibility of gas station not have any gas available for you to get, right? So if you like to ride around on E all the time, this ain't the time for you to be riding around on E. You might want to be proactive and get ahead and get to a gas station and fill up your tank before there's a hurricane warning, if you're planning on evacuating, right? Now, I see a lot of people, they either go to loved ones further inland. I see a lot of people get hotel rooms. Other people might just go out of town, right? Go somewhere and see something new. Whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you're out ahead of the curve and not behind the 8 ball when it comes to evacuating. Right? Shout out to Juanetta Thomas and Brandon Nicholson. Right? And yeah, if you're going to evacuate, make sure that you board up your doors, board up your windows, all that stuff I talked about earlier. You want to make sure you do all that before you leave the house. If you got pets, right? Obviously, you want to bring your pets in. All right, you don't want your pet out there on the leash, out there on the gate, and there's 125-mile-an-hour winds out there. All right, and then next thing you know, your German Shepherd get hit with a 2x4. He get knocked unconscious. So make sure you bring your pets in. All right, this should go without saying, but hey, common sense ain't common, right? And then you want to make sure you have food for your pets. Right, make sure you got food for your pets, because if there's three of the first things that go in the grocery store is water, batteries, toilet paper, and pet food. Those are the main things that one of the first things that go during the threat of a hurricane or whatever like that. Let's say you want to make sure that you stay abreast of what's going on in the news, because hurricanes, they do tend to change direction at any given point in time, right? Right. So these forecast models is you gotta know how to read a forecast model. And salute to Brandon Nicholson, Juanetta Thomas, Luda Rider Sports. Salute to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for being up in here, man. Let's see what else. So I want to show y'all something real quick. You know what I'm saying? And just know September is the peak month for hurricanes as well. September and October, those are the two peak months for hurricanes. Like I said before, for everybody that's just coming in, if you live in the area that's been impacted by Laura, I hope and pray that you guys are safe. Hope and pray everything's all right for y'all. And if you need anything, you know what I'm saying, I'm just you got some of y'all got my email, others got my phone number, you know what I'm saying? Just let me know what I can do, and then I'll help you out best way I can. Right? All right, so all right, right now this is a tropical depression right now. So what you're seeing is a forecast track. Now obviously the storm has blown out because it's over land. Hurricanes will get weaker over land. All right. So what you see here is a forecast model. Now this forecast model, there's a whole bunch of different things that's taken into account to generate this forecast model. Temperature, salinity of the water, um, atmospheric pressure, you know, there's a whole multitude of science, math, you know, barometric pressure, all this stuff that's taken into consideration before you come up with a forecast model. Now, what you see here is a 3D forecast track. Okay. They also have 5-day forecast tracks or whatever like that. But what you see here is the track of where the center of the storm is going to be at. All right. Now, it could be outside the model. It could be anywhere in this model. And that's just the center of the storm. It does not. So basically what you're saying, so for example, right, you got this center of the tropical depression over Kentucky. But, you know, Illinois could be impacted. Tennessee could be impacted. Indiana, Arkansas, right? All these states, Alabama, Mississippi, all that can be impacted by Laura, right? Where, you know, you got a lot of strong winds. So you got a lot of strong winds and the storm is moving fast. Now you got the possibility of tornadoes touching down, right? And hurricanes do spawn tornadoes. All right. So you got that threat out there as well. Especially typically your most severe winds come in the northeast quadrant of the storm. So as the storm is moving counterclockwise, you got the northeast quadrant of the storm. And this particular hurricane, right? The eye wall was so well defined in this eye wall. So as the storm is moving counterclockwise, you got the northeast quadrant, and then that's that area, especially in Louisiana, in some parts of Louisiana, where they had tornado threats and they had tornadoes touching down. So, and then we all know tornadoes can cause a lot of it, just cause added damage on top of the hurricane. Right now, the most dangerous part of the hurricane is the storm surge. So, if you live in a low-lying area or area that's below sea level, like the cities I just mentioned, like Charleston, South Carolina, Norfolk, Virginia, Tampa, Florida, New Orleans, you know, those type of cities, right? You live in a low-lying area and there's high tide and there's a hurricane coming in that's bringing in storm surge. Well, be prepared for your house to be underwater. So if you live in a low-lying area, you want to get the hell out of Dodge. Right. But I'm going to add one more thing, right? When it comes to these for hurricanes or whatever like that, right? Depending on what city you live in, right? For example, I knew when I lived in Hampton, Virginia, when I was in the military, right? They have what they call a response priority list, right? So if you live anywhere near a hospital, police station, fire department, you know, anything that involves an emergency action entity, right? Wherever you live at in relation to that will get attention first, right? So for example, where I lived like literally right next door to the hospital. You got the hospital grid, right? So if you live in the hospital grid and the power goes out, your power will come back on immediately, right? If you live in, shout out to my boy Too Raw for TV in the motherfucking house, man. Salute, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Too Raw for TV in the building, right? So, but like say like you live out in the country area, right? There's nothing there, ain't no hospital, no fire department, no police station within 30 miles, right? Then you're not going to receive not nearly as much attention as the people who live near the hospital, who live near the police station, who live near a fire department. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You come on in Too Raw. I just want Too Raw for TV for right now. I just want Too Raw. Oh yeah, James, you can come in too. So there's two people that can come in here, James and Too Raw for TV. You know what I'm saying? So I just want James and Too Raw right now. You know, everybody else can come in later on, but I just want James and Too Raw for right now. Right? Now, when it comes to what else? What else? Right? Like I said, for evacuation purposes, right? You don't want to wait till the last minute. You want to you know, you want to, a lot of this involves planning, right? You got to plan, right? If you don't plan, you know, that does not, you're just gonna set yourself up for failure, man. You know, straight. So you gotta get out ahead of everything when it comes to these hurricanes, man. These hurricanes are no joke. Now, when it comes to Lou, I just want Too Raw and James. You come in a little bit. When it comes to hurricanes, right? When it comes to this whole dynamic, right? Give you a little quick lesson, give you a little quick Cliff Notes version of how these things form. Okay. So hurricane season starts from June 1st to December 30th, right? Hurricanes can form at any time. But they typically would start off the coast of Africa, typically speaking. Now we've seen storms develop off the coast of Florida. You know, right now the Gulf of Mexico, it is fucking a area where, you know, you can go from a tropical depression to a category 4 within like 2-3 days because the water is that warm. It thrives on warm water. It hates cold water. Anytime it's, you know, and it hates high winds, right? So, you know, because this thing called wind shear, it would like literally tear it apart, right? So anything that has any potential for wind shear, if it goes over mountains, it will weaken the storm. But warm water, like the Gulf of Mexico, right? Where Laura went from a category 1 to the category 4 in the span of 2 days because it just kept like rotating around that Gulf of Mexico, right? So, I mean, these storms are powerful. They ain't nothing to be fucked with. If you live in the area where, you know, you could be susceptible to these hurricanes, man, take this shit seriously. All right, what's up, Too Raw?
Hey, what's up, LB? No, I had to actually come in, man, because you know, I really you know, fascinated with weather, and you know, I really have followed hurricanes extensively since Gilbert, man. Like, when I was a little kid, I don't know if you remember Gilbert.
Yeah, Hurricane Gilbert hit Galveston, Texas in 1988.
88, yeah. Ever since Gilbert, man, I've been fascinated with you know, meteorology and hurricanes. So I've always like been kind of reading about them since then. Hugo, Bob, and Andrew in '92. So like what you're saying is true, man. And another danger that happens when you have these landfalling hurricanes is as they go over land, the shear and the friction of these storms, you start getting vorticity, and a lot of them, you know, most of them start producing tornadoes.
Yeah,
and that's a problem because I know you live in, you know, Virginia with me, and that's what I'm concerned about tomorrow evening because this system's going to pass over us. And I'm hoping it's not going to be similar to what happened 2 years ago. I think this happened a little bit south of you, but where I'm at in Richmond, we had a historic tornado outbreak from Florence. So that's
I
something.
remember that.
Right. Yeah. I actually saw it. I actually saw one of them. We had 8 tornadoes in Richmond, man. 8 of them. Like, and this isn't Kansas. That's not normal. So that's something that's I'm concerned about, you know what I'm saying? But people got to take these things seriously.
Yeah, man, these tornadoes and these hurricanes ain't no joke, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I know a lot of people out there calling themselves trying to ride it out, man. But look, I got a rule, right? My rule is this: if it's 2 and below, I'm gonna ride it out. If it's 3 and above, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah. Yep.
That's my thing, man. I'm like, I ain't trying to be nowhere near where hurricane at. What up, James?
What's up, big dog? Salute to everybody and salute to the chat. This is my cup of
No, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying like you have to take all natural disasters serious because you never know. Like in certain situations, you can't underestimate no water pressure, how high it's gonna go. And then like Two Ross said, it have a tendency when it hit landfall to go into a tornado. So that's even much danger with the high winds without the rain because it'll take your house and it'll flip it upside down with people in it. And I've seen it over the years dealing with the hurricanes being from New Orleans. We dodged a lot of bullets. We done seen a lot of them. And I remember the one from Gilbert with Two Raw talking about it tore our ass out the frame too on this pad through all this. So like when it hit landfall, it have a, a chance of decreasing what you can say, but
Mm-hmm.
the shit that is picking up in its way also can keep the strength of the hurricane. Because if it
Yeah.
don't have nothing to feed on, then you dead. But like LB was saying too, the warmer the water, the worse of the hurricane. Because when Katrina started, it was like a category 2, 3. When it hit landfall, it was a 5. Then it dropped down to a 4. You know what I mean? So it depends on wherever you in, how high you sit, how low you sit. So you got to take this shit to precaution and take this shit to heed because you won't be caught and waiting on no rescue like I was stuck in the house 7 days, stuck in the bank another 7 days. Like I spent 14 days in that heat, that dirt ass water with nothing to eat. Nobody don't want to live like that, man. That story is painful to even tell people sometimes because people, man, I hear you asking, but you from New Orleans? Man, how that shit was. And I gotta just keep rekindling that shit over and over. So good thing I'm a strong ass individual because some people just thinking about it took their life, jumped off bridges, jumped out the Superdome. Like a dude really jumped off the top of the fucking Superdome, the high seats, and with the 80,000, 70,000 people sit at. This nigga jumped. He walked all the way up there and jumped because he thought it was over. Like that's the type of shit this shit'll have you breaking down, and you don't want that, man. You don't want no natural disaster getting the best of you, because coming together is a good feeling, and that showed because I saw people that was beefing with each other 2 weeks before that just had a shootout, and now you helping the nigga on a boat, saving his family. But when the people got that money back and FEMA go, then Eagles went to kicking back in. It was a different ball game instead of keeping that momentum going. They use these natural disasters, I think, to break up our communities, to keep us divided, to put us all over this world, to separate us from our families, just so they could benefit off it. They sitting back laughing, sucking all the nigga funds up. But
Yeah.
you
Well,
got to take this hurricane serious, bro. All these hurricanes that's forming in the Gulf back to back, it's serious. This is remind me of 2005 all over again when Katrina hit, then Rita, then you had Gustav in 2008.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just
hey,
gonna
what was
keep
that? Hey, what
coming.
was that one hurricane that hit before Katrina? There was a storm that hit before Katrina.
No, Katrina hit first, then Rita came 2 weeks later, and Rita added the icing on the cake. But Katrina, the one really flooded everything out. But you know how hurricanes just come sit in one spot. That bitch getting stronger. That's why he chilling because it's a spot where he can get. It's like it's got a mind of his own or something. Why you think it travel on the path that it travel? Some people say that's the witch travel, the slave route. It's all kind of shit that you could think about, and then just think about it. The same way they brought these slaves in and fucked over us, killing them, taking this world from us, and not having equal opportunities. The same routes all these hurricanes taking. When you do the real history and stop reading the shit they put in these schools and blinding us by with this fake American history and start learning on the real history of the world, then you'll have these answers like I do, because I had to learn that shit on my own. I got tired of people saying this, tired of people saying that. So
It
while I
was
was in
Cindy.
school, so while I was in school, what it was, LB?
It was Cindy. Because one hit. There was like three hurricanes that hit that region, right? No, actually, it was four. There was Dennis, Cindy, Katrina, and Rita, right?
But Cindy and Reed, I mean Cindy and this, whatever the one you said, that bitch ain't touched New Orleans. We just got some rain like everybody else. Before it's the eye of the storm, it's hitting our city head on. It ain't do that shit like Katrina and Rita. Katrina
okay.
and Rita hit us head on.
Hey, shout out to Chris Jones and William Bird in the building. And one piece of information I left out, I forgot to cover before I go to Lou the Ryder, right? When it comes to hurricanes, right? Hurricane force winds can extend out to like 100 miles from the center. So just because you're not directly in the center of the storm, don't mean you still can't feel hurricane force winds. All right.
Facts.
Tropical
Facts.
storm tropical storm force winds can extend out to 250, even 300 miles in some cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just because you're not in that direct area don't mean you won't feel the effects of the storm in some way, form, or fashion. So I don't want people to get that kind of misconception either.
Can I say something right quick, LB?
Go ahead, man.
Okay. Yeah, like what he just said. Like every storm is different. Some storms are huge. Like if I remember correctly, Katrina was kind of a big storm. Sandy, to hit New York, that was a big, like large storm. But then some of them are small and compact, like Andrew. Andrew was not a large hurricane, but it was extraordinarily strong. Like the winds, the hurricane force winds, the field and the tropical storm force winds weren't that far out, but it was a very, very strong Category 5 hurricane that destroyed much of Florida at that time.
Yeah, Andrew was a bitch.
And,
I
and,
love.
and, and you know what? Those type of storms are actually more dangerous than the ones that are like big and spread out.
Hey,
Right.
Andrew hit us head on though, but when Andrew hit us, it was a Category 3, and I lost an uncle because he had candles lit, and the wind blew the candles down and burnt the house up, and they was trying to save him, but they couldn't get to him. Like I said, man, these war stories coming from that type of area when you come from the slave route, because all this down south is number slaves, Mississippi, Texas, all that shit. You know what I mean? They took this shit from us for a reason, but to stay on topic, I just want you to know this. Katrina wasn't the strongest hurricane that hit us that year. Rita was bigger and stronger than Katrina. But what's the difference
Yeah.
was that made it look like Katrina was more impactful because the bitches blowed the levees on the niggas, on the blacks, and flooded all us out. Why you think the French quarters around the Superdome ain't had that much water and it was easy for to get the people in there? But when you go in the real poor black neighborhoods, water over the house. Only thing you see is the little tip part that bring the tip up on the house on the roof. Everybody underwater, man. You had people still in them houses. You know the body count, and they only gonna talk about 1,500 people died. Man, they had people got washed off to the shore they never found. They ain't gonna tell you that shit though, bro. I'm telling you, dog. People still looking for their people from that shit.
Yeah.
These
And get
people that
this.
we close to that know these stories though, but they ain't gonna bring it to the media because people gonna talk about, oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, they just tripping. Dog, they built the Superdome on a fucking graveyard. When they did that shit, boy, the whole community went up, bro, because they had all their people right there. We had people built down there with the Superdome there. That's why the Saints, it took them bitches so long to win, because the word on the street was they had a voodoo curse on us because of what they did to blacks. They could have built that stadium anywhere, dog, and the petition wasn't strong enough for them to do that. But the money was overpowering people. They was still in those times where blacks ain't had no fucking word. They was killing Dr. Martin Luther King. They was killing fucking Malcolm X. So how the fuck you gonna listen to anybody at that time when they killing us as it is? So to bring us back to the hurricane, when Katrina hit, them bitches blowed the levee, dog. You felt that shit throughout the whole black regions. Dynamites around the whole levee, the shit shook. So when the water came in, it was like 3-4 feet of water. Nigga wasn't even much looking at the shit. Like I was like, God damn, it ain't much raining hard out here. We had a slide door with some shade with some blinds on it in the kitchen. So I pulled that bitch back. The black dirty water just hitting that fucking window. That bitch chest high. So I know if I open this bitch, it's gonna come in here, but I can still stand on it, like stand in the water. So I'm like, man, I ran upstairs, got everybody upstairs. I'm telling them by that morning come, the water pressure from the door, the water pressure that hit the door and put a seam in that bitch at the bottom. So the water started coming in that bitch. Took over 17 flights of stairs. We had upstairs and downstairs. Dog, nigga was scared to death. Dog, we stayed in that house for like 7 days. White boys riding on jet skis, riding on their motorboats. I ain't trying to save no nigga. And like, dog, the shit was so horrendous and atrocious how they was playing this, because they had boats. So now everybody now, I don't give a fuck if it's a little paddle boat. If you go in all the black communities, them niggas would bought them a tugboat, a jet ski or something, just so they can survive and save people on it. Niggas just went to buying all kind of shit after the storm. But they ain't gonna tell you how to prepare for this shit unless you really been into it. You can't like when I first moved to California and I felt my first earthquake, man, listen, I went home. I was like, man, I ain't going back out there. But fuck, you can't run from no natural disaster. Dog, them bitches hit everywhere you go. So the best thing you got to do is take that shit to heat. If you ever been through one, know how to do it. Know how to handle yourself. Do not panic in certain situations and stay calm. As long as you stay calm, you can fight through any situation that you ever was in. And I'm a living testimony because when the water came chest high upstairs on my house, I had 11 people in that motherfucker. I didn't know I was gonna do it, but I did it. The boat can't say the younger ones and the older, the women, and they left 5 niggas in that bitch for 7 days. We was in that bitch with nothing to eat. Like we was like savages in the water, just looking for food. But when they came got us, they brought us to a bank, like 3 blocks over, where the whole city full of water. Nigga, we riding on a boat. We got snakes living in water moccasins. We seen alligators. Say, bro, like I told you last time, LB, I seen a lady with 2 of her kids in her arm, bro. That shit fucked me up. Some people can't shake back from that, dog. Saying a natural disaster like that, no, you can't help your people. But it's hard, bro. So take care of yourself. Take heed to what these people saying. Try to talk to somebody for these type of situations if you've never been through it. Just don't panic, bro, and stay calm. The Lord is always with us. He ain't gonna put us in nothing that we can't handle. He just want to see if we can handle it. That's all.
Lou the Rider, man, what you got on this, man? Lou, you there?
Yeah. What up, guys? Thanks for LB letting me come in on that. James, I always read about the history of New Orleans, and I wonder if people really know why they got the graveyards where they got the bodies up on above instead of underground because of water. You ever read the history about that?
Yeah, because when they flood, they lift them bitches up. That's why we can't have no in the ground tombstones. We are listen, since Katrina and Rita hit us, we was already like 7 feet below sea level. Now we double digits, nigga. Then you just had that fucking thing that happened with the BP spill, that big explosion. So that pushed more water onto the land to sink us below sea level some more. You feel me? So all that shit plays a part in it. That bitch about to be a whole wetland. Nigga gotta move from down there, dog. But they don't understand that shit. That's why they call it the swamps. Ain't nothing but the swamps.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason why in Florida they got alligators and big ass snakes and everything else because of the waters, and because they had zoo like a reptile zoo way back in the day. It got flooded out. And now you got all these bolted critters, alligators, and turtles and land on deep in the Florida swamps, eating all type of shit. But y'all, LB, you were talking about what's going on what's going on in Kentucky. Man, I'm down here right now. They supposed to have these bay door. We right by the river. They both and we cross a river across the from Indiana. They supposed to have these bay doors down, but they never put them down. They let the water, they let the storm, tornado, whatever, do whatever, and basically they flood. It always floods up half of downtown.
What?
They always try to find a reason to remodel some of downtown because they don't give a damn about what goes on downtown. They already tried to find a reason. They said, "Oh, the water came above. We can remodel some of these buildings and houses down here." When the water hit when the water hit the project down here, they basically kicked everybody out so they can remodel the whole project, and they didn't give a damn about that. So right now,
that's part of the plan for gentrification. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
they want to drive out all the blacks, because a lot of those areas are predominantly black. So, they drive them out, and then what they do is they remodel it so that way you get people that buy that land for cheap, right? They buy that
right
land
now,
for cheap, they remodel that land or whatnot, and then they got their kind moving in.
So
right
I'm gonna
now,
tell you something about that. I don't mean to cut y'all out. I'm glad you brought that up because I was trying to let Luke cook. But Luke, you right though. That's the whole plan. All right, put it this way: anywhere blacks at and it's dominant, they see it's money to be made. They're already making money off us. They gonna flood that section out. You know why they flood our section out? To put casinos and to make it a tourist city fully. because they know New Orleans is a tourist city with the Mardi Gras, Bayou Classics, Essence, and other things, Super Bowl, Sugar Bowl. You know, you got a lot of things that revenue money for that small ass community. So it's easy for you to steal. Plus, it's easy for you to run a black because it ain't that big of a population as it is.
Hey,
That's
hold
why
on,
I'm telling
hold
you.
on a second, James. Hey, Too Raw.
Yo,
Hey, you and I need to go to the Essence Festival, you know what I'm saying? Boy, there'll be some hoes out there. Hey, go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
No, listen, you ain't lying though, bro. It's a beautiful thing, dog. But at the end of the day, that's what they want. They trying to see how many people is in what section, what population is bigger, so we could target that motherfucker and flush these motherfuckers out like cockroaches, so we could go on with our plan. That's not gonna happen no more, dog. Cause the way what y'all doing, killing us, we got a voice too. So it's time for us to stand up. I ain't like hurricanes is part of natural disaster, but I do believe in my heart that some of this shit being controlled. You know what I mean? Not everything. Sometimes I think Lord sends certain things through this bitch to clean it up and relocate certain people so to open their eyes like he did me. And I took that shit as a good example, and I looked at it as a positive. I ain't look at that man. He took everything. No, I lost everything. The shit that I lost, I couldn't get back at that time because of how I was doing it. So just imagine me trying to shake back and the people who getting 26,000 for their houses, 10,000 for their property. I ain't getting nothing. So everything I ever had to do, dog, I sweat on my mama and my 6 kids. I had to get it out the mud and stand on my own.
Yeah.
Period. Like you ain't gonna get that shit back. So what you got to do is prepare yourself for you got to prepare yourself because if it do hit and you wind up losing everything, you got to go to these people and get this shit back. That's what they want us to do. They want you to keep relying on the government to have to keep giving you stuff, FEMA checks, stimulus packages. When the only thing they have to do is give us the right amount of money that we deserve on our jobs. Give everybody raises, a reparation like it's supposed to go. And nigga, when be in this situation, nigga have the time and the money to prepare for hurricanes and shape their house back. I know so many homeowners lost their house due to that hurricane because other people came in with more money. They ain't had the money to fix it up. They waiting on FEMA to give them their money to fix their house up, plus the insurance people. Then you got some people getting the money, ain't doing shit with it. Still partying, living above their means, and forgot to fix this shit up. Now the state done took it from them and put that bitch up and put it on Section 8. Now they eating off your shit. Like, it's so many ways they fucking us, dog. We got to prepare ourselves for the worst, dog. Always pray for the better, but always prepare yourself for the worst, LB, y'all.
That's exactly, man. That's exactly right, man. Shout out to RP Sean Taylor, Stephen Brown, Aaron Garnett in the building, man. Appreciate y'all, man. This is a very important topic, man. You know what I'm saying? And so one thing we hadn't covered is after the storm, right? After the storm. So after the storm, right? I mean, yeah, you want to survey the damage or whatever like that, right? But one thing you don't want to do is you don't be driving around town aimlessly, right? And you won't be walking around town aimlessly as well. I'm pretty sure a lot of these cities will enable curfew or whatever like that. But like you got the possibility, come across some down power lines, and some of those down power lines might be live wires. So you don't want to be put in a situation where you can get shocked, right? And it's even more dangerous if you got down power lines in the air in a flood area. Right?
Mhm.
You got
Yeah.
down trees, some places you can't even drive around because you got down trees and debris everywhere. Right? So and so I mean you got to be really careful after the storm, because after the storm where it can be just as dangerous as during the storm. You know what I'm saying? What you got on this too, Raw? Anything you want to add on that?
Well, I mean, I just know from two experiences. I know you live down south, so you probably experienced a little bit more than me. The only two experiences I really remember having is Isabel in 2003 and Irene in 2011, and they were both just category ones. And especially Isabel. Isabel caused a lot of destruction here as far as like power outages, down trees. Some it wasn't like a lot of loss of life. I think maybe like one or two people lost their lives. It wasn't like that bad, but it was just more like the damage it did as far as like down trees. And you know, some people, you know, they lost, you know, like the trees might have fell on their cars, some property, you know, damage, stuff like that. But that was just a category 1. So I can
Yeah.
only imagine, you know, going through a category 3 or a 4 or 5 like Katrina, like especially if you live near the coast where you have to deal with flood, you know, with you know, the surge, you know, and you know, you know, yeah, people really have to take these storms seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like when these people warn you about it, you know, I know a lot of people be like, you know, they rationalize like, they said this before, but it went this way and that way. I think we'd be all right. You could never assume. You always have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best because you don't want to get caught, you know, shit up creek without a paddle. You don't want to have that happen. You don't want to get caught slipping when it deals with a hurricane. So stock up on food, stock up on supplies. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be in a situation where, you know, you're going to be at the worst of the storm, especially if it's a major hurricane, and just try to, you know what I'm saying, if you can, get a NOAA radio. I don't know if that's been mentioned. You probably already mentioned that, but get a NOAA radio.
Yeah, I think Luda Ryder mentioned something
Yeah,
about getting a radio.
Lou did it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, get a NOAA radio, battery operated if you lose power, because you want to keep track of keep abreast of what's going on, and take these storms seriously because they're forecasting this is going to be a bad year, and we're right now in the peak of hurricane season. So from now until probably maybe in October, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, maybe it slows down then, you know what I'm saying, keep abreast of this weather, and they have warnings, you know, listen to it and you know, and listen to what the experts saying. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, and then this is the thing, right? When we talk
Mhm.
about experts, we talk about guys that are they either certified. There's 2 certifications that they have, AWS
Right.
and WMS, right?
Mhm.
Because I know one. I remember growing up, there was this guy by the name of Bill Walsh. He was a chief meteorologist down in Charleston, South Carolina, but he was also he was like a lieutenant commander in the Air Force in the reserves, right?
Mhm.
But he, man, I'm telling you, man, there's those 2 certifications right there that tell you right there they got credibility or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know anybody could jump off the back of the truck and be a weatherman, but when you got those 2 certifications right there, man, I'm telling you, man, you got credibility, man. Anybody else want to come in the chat, man? You know what I'm saying? Click the link. I'm opening up the chat line to everybody else. Everybody else want to come in, you know what I'm saying? Give your piece about about what to do before, during, and after a hurricane. Yeah, I talked about renter's insurance one day, and I also talked about flood insurance as well. If you live in a low-lying area, you live in a flood zone, you must have flood insurance. Which leads to this flooding, right? I know a couple guys talked about this, right? Flooding is dangerous, man. Especially you live in an area where you got moccasins, alligators, and all that. I remember there were stories about alligators being found in people's houses. Alligators were eating the dead bodies that were floating around. That shit was so sad, man.
Mhm.
Real, man, that shit was just so sad when I heard that, man.
Watch out for snapping turtles too.
Hey, water moccasins is bad, bro.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of them in the south. So if you gotta walk in that water, please protect yourself.
So you got to think all that wildlife getting brought on by the hurricane and all that through the storm surge.
Oh yeah, it's coming out that Gulf too, LB. I'm glad Juanetta said that. Salute to you, Queen, because you do need flood insurance. That's where they'll fuck you at too. Home insurance and flood insurance. Because if you're waiting on FEMA to do it for you, I know people still ain't get their money till like 5 years later. Like people had $100,000 insurance policies on their house, but FEMA was telling them they're not paying them. You got to go through your insurance company. So some people ain't have insurance, so they had to wait for FEMA to give it to them. So by you having insurance on your own house, you'll get more money. But if you go through FEMA and wait for the government, the shit you about to lose in your house, you're gonna be pissed off with the money FEMA gonna give you back to get on your feet. Cause 26,000 ain't shit, my nigga. 30,000 ain't shit compared to what you lost and how much that house was worth.
You right,
Yeah.
that ain't shit.
Yeah.
My
That's nothing.
My grandfather taught us a whole lot of things before he passed away, like how to grow our own vegetables and how basically make our own stuff to be safe. And the one thing
Yeah,
he said, and the one thing he taught us, if you got storm cellar, fill it up with a whole lot of food and a whole lot of water, because you don't know how long when the power lines go down and when up the trees go down, how long your power gonna be off and how long you gonna have to go be basically without things. So make sure you fill it up with everything you need for the next couple of months and years.
And that's what I'm saying. If you want to, like, if you want to freaking, you want to get ahead of this, right? Because, like I said before, one of the first things that goes in the store whenever there's the threat of a hurricane, water, batteries, flashlight, pet food, toilet paper, all that stuff, right?
That's what my apartment filled with right now. A whole lot of batteries, toilet paper, food that I grew myself, and
You got
and
spam in your house?
you got that potty meat, huh, Lou? Lou was stacked up of Anastasia spam and potty meat with buku crackers. He gonna survive.
Actually, I went to my
Hey man, spam can withstand a nuclear explosion here.
Actually, James, LB, this is what I did. I went to a friend of mine's farm, got some meat over there and put it in a cooler.
You got some of that? Hey, you got some of that street meat?
No, I got some of that chicken, pig.
A whole pig?
Yeah.
See, I can
got
tell.
You a hog, huh, boy?
Hey, man, I can tell Lou the Rider, man. You know what I'm saying? You be one of the ones that be serving people mystery meal at a party. They're like, hey, man, what's that you serving up, man? Raccoon? What the fuck?
Raccoon.
Hey, though, if you know how to cook that shit, though, and clean it, boy, that shit good, boy. You is tripping.
But it would be the other mystery meat, muskrat. The motherfucker still have the goddamn whiskers on it.
Oh, no, I ain't eating that shit. Like, listen, people from the South, coon, deer, rabbit. You might catch a nigga eating blackened gator, fried alligator. You might catch.
I eat that shit. I eat gator now. God damn that.
Some niggas eat snake. Some niggas eat frog legs. They got frog legs down here look like chicken. Boy, they have you so confused. You think you eating chicken the way they batter that shit in that season and got that crisp and that crust on that bitch looking like churches of Popeyes, but that's a whole frog leg.
Hey man, if you drop that bitch in yesterday's chicken grease, of course it's gonna taste like chicken.
No, you can use fresh grease, dog. Listen, I used to work at a restaurant, Ralph Catcool's. It was a seafood, so everything they bought off the Gulf, frog legs, all that shit. They caught and did it, dog. These people down there believe in doing that shit themselves. They ain't about to go to no Cisco or no Costco, nigga. They going hunting themselves. That's what I love about down there. They hunt their own food. They grow their own pastures. They got greens, onions, tomatoes, cabbage, all kind of shit growing, lettuce. I used to have my grandma pick that shit in Mississippi, come inside full of dust. I used to be like, man, I hate coming out here. But at the end of the day, you know what you eating. I went and bought some chicken wings from the store. Dog, I ain't never seen chicken wings that fucking big. You seen the turkey legs? Them bitches look like they on steroids or something. I'm scared to eat that shit out the store now. They just pumping this shit with steroids. You don't know what you putting in your fucking body.
It's like it's y'all. My grandfather went through the Great Depression, so they had to survive on their own. And plus, my great grandfather was an Indian, and they had to go through that stuff with the white people. So they had to learn how to survive on their own too. So basically, before my grandfather passed away in 1999, he taught us how to grow our stuff and how to survive just in case you come up in situations like they had to go through, like the Great Depression and everything else.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, these tips and tricks and whatnot don't only apply to hurricanes or whatever like that. And I know we in hurricane season, so that's why I'm talking about it, right? But say like you involved in a snowstorm up in the Northeast. I know one at a time.
We've been through that too.
You get involved you get caught up in the snowstorm. You can't get out the house, right? Snowstorms out there. I mean, we're in August right now. We're in the dog days of summer, so it's unlikely unless you live in the North Pole, South Pole, or somewhere in a random part of Alaska that you're going to get hit with a snowstorm, right?
LB,
Unlike
we got
get hit in
we
New
got
Orleans,
hit with a snowstorm.
South Carolina in August, huh?
We got hit with a snowstorm back in 1996. I believe we got like 8 to 10 feet of snow.
Oh, you must be talking about the blizzard of '96.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the Blue 96.
Yeah,
I remember
that's
that
what
one.
he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I only recall it snowing like 3 times in my whole life down here. That what Two Raw talking about? And they had one like 85, and it just had one like 2008 or 2009. Because
That
I
one
had
in '96, man. That was like one of the biggest snowstorms in history. Like
Yeah.
you don't even see them jumps no more like that.
Too raw. We had another one way back. Like when I was in elementary school, we had another storm. Like they still made us go to school. My brother had to pick me up. I can barely see the snow. That was so big.
You talking about the storm of '93?
Yeah,
Yeah. I know you're
Man,
talking about
like
storm of the century.
we had tornadoes, storms, and we had a whole lot of bad things that happened since
Hey,
I've been growing up here.
remember Ike and George, Two Raw?
Who?
The Hurricane Ike and George. Them bitches
Yeah,
was something serious too.
I remember
Yeah,
Ike.
we
Boy,
call
Ike and George was something serious.
and we called that Hurricane Ike Turner.
Yeah, that bitch come through slapping shit, boy. We was outside. We had stole a man
He
boat,
not telling you
but
see
there
a
had a
song,
hole
right?
in it. We had 2 people with a bucket scooping the water out. That's how bad we was, scooping the water out. And we had like 9 niggas on that bitch paddling. Ooh, come on, let's get it.
Hey,
The
LB,
water
can
was
I
like
ask you a
waist
I
high.
was like, Tina, told you to sing that song, right? You gonna sing it right, woman?
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
LB,
that shit,
can I
I
ask
ain't
you a
gonna lie,
question?
that shit used to be fun. They talking about get inside. Man, anybody about to get inside. We done boarded all the windows up. We can't see outside this bitch. Unless the water's about to take over, we outside.
And what you about to ask me too, Raw?
Oh, I just want to ask you something. You grew up in South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Were you living there when Hugo hit?
Yeah, I was. Matter of fact, it happened 3 days after my birthday. I was 10 years old. I remember that bitch like it was yesterday, yo.
Which one you said too,
Hugo.
No, he asked me
My
about Hurricane
family,
Hugo that hit
my family,
1989.
yeah, my family, it was like late September '89. My family lived down there. And I remember him telling me that he grew up in South Carolina, so I was wondering if he went through Hugo. They said that was the worst storm they ever experienced. Like
Bro.
it was.
I remember
Bro.
that bitch. Listen,
Let
South
me tell you about
Carolina, North Carolina get it too though, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this though, too, Raw and James and Luda Ryder, right? The eye passed over my house. The eye of Hurricane Hugo passed over my house, and then when you look outside, it's like it was like nothing happened, right? You can see the stars. It was clear as day. It was like a random ass night, and then all of a sudden, that wind just came out of nowhere. People were outside like talking. People was out there socializing. My grandmama warned everybody that the storm wasn't over. They laughed at my grandmama and everything, you know what I'm saying? They was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Then all of a sudden that wind hit. Everybody was trying to hightail it back in the house. What? I'm telling you, man, that storm. And then this is the thing. I remember, like, I was watching the Cosby Show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was in the living room, right? I was like right by the window. I had already taped the window up with duct tape and all that. I was like 10 years old. I had just turned 10, right? And we were looking at Live 5 News. I was back then, and there was this guy by the name of Keith Nichols, man. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Keith Nichols. He was a weatherman out there, right? And this dude, he broke it down. Like, I've never heard a weatherman broke down a hurricane, and this dude broke it down. I mean, he broke this shit down to science, right? And it was just, because remember 3 days, or matter of fact, Hugo hit Puerto Rico on my birthday.
Right. Yeah.
Hugo hit Puerto Rico like 3 days before that.
Flatten it. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it literally flatlined Puerto Rico. And then when it made that turn, and we're looking at the forecast track or whatnot. Because, imagine they having that forecast track back then. and like we was like literally in the path of the hurricane or whatever like that. And like, everything
Yeah.
was being evacuated. Man, look, I lost. I know the window. So in the house I was in, I was trying to sleep through the hurricane, but it already broke the window, right? So it broke. It broke like pretty much all the windows that was in the living room. All those windows were broken. So my grandmama had me and my sister out in the hallway. For some reason, my granddaddy, he was a drunk. He went outside during the hurricane looking for a drink.
Wow.
I was like, oh my goodness, he's not coming back. And then he sitting like he came in the living room the next morning. I'm thinking, I'm like, how the hell you survived that shit?
I would imagine him like Gilligan and Gilligan Island Return when he was holding on to the palm tree.
That shit was fucking crazy. I'm like, why are you going out there, man? It's fucking windy as shit. The house was gonna cave in, bro. So
Right.
back room, so one of the bedrooms had the roof cave in. That part of the roof cave in. Also had windows broken in that room, right? You go in the back room and the entire roof was like gone. I mean, there was like you couldn't even get in the room without seeing the fucking roof, right? We was without power for like a month. And this the thing, the transformer, like if you like, because I was on the second floor. When you looked outside, the transformer was like right there embedded in the trees and shit. So it was like, oh fuck, man, this is not going to be. I'm like, man, this is not going to be good, man.
I remember looking at a video on YouTube earlier this year, and it was like local affiliate coverage of Hugo down there in South Carolina. And I saw in the comment section, somebody said that they lived down there at the time, and they said that they saw something they never seen. But they said the lightning was green. Do you remember saying anything like that when you?
I don't even know lightning being green. Basically, what that was is
Or would you say it was Transformers?
Transformer being blown out. That's what they
probably what that was. Okay, that's why I kind of thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's what they saw.
You ever heard one of them bitches blow?
We had this huh?
Did you ever heard one of them bitches blow up?
Hell yeah, man! That
Dog,
shit,
that shit sound crazy, huh, dog?
You run no goddamn transformer when that bitch blow, yo.
That shit remind me of Bob How High when he stole that weed. That nigga was sitting on that sofa. That nigga said, "Here, run for your life."
I've heard a transformer blow up, but it actually happened when we was having an ice storm.
Man, I heard like 4 of them bitches blow up when them say, bro, when a storm come, that's the worst time to be around one of them bitches. Cause
T.
the lightning hit.
T. Jordan live in Columbia. He live in Columbia and whatnot. That bitch went over the
Georgia, huh?
No, that's in South Carolina. But
they get it too, boy. They get them hurricanes out there.
Yeah, Columbia is like 100 miles outside of Charleston, and it's 100 miles north of Charleston, man. But I'm telling you, man, and then there's this bridge that separates the Isle of Palms from Sullivan's Island. So there was this drawbridge that a lot of people go over, man. That bitch was leaned over when that bitch was like that. The hurricane spun it around so much, and then all of a sudden that bitch just drooped in the water. It just dropped in the water. You can't even get on that motherfucker. So like if you lived in Sullivan's Island, the Isle of Palms at the time, it was hard as fuck to get over to like downtown Charleston or even Mount Pleasant in that manner. You know what I'm saying? Mount Pleasant, I mean, speaking of which, downtown Charleston, in the area I was at, the area I lived at, it was high. It was actually higher ground. But like if you go further downtown, where it was where the battery was in the market, man, that bitch was all that was underwater. All of that was underwater. So Hurricane Hugo, man, that storm was no joke, man. That storm really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I know my mom was trying to get me to calm down and whatnot. I'm like, man, I can't wait till I get older.
Hey, that bitch passed. We got the outskirts of Hugo, but we watched it go to y'all. Man, we boarded all our house up for that hurricane. I was helping my grandpa on the ladder. That used to be the fun days because dog right now they they people was out of work for the last 2 days in Texas. So Friday they opened back up. Boy, it looked like the end of the world out here. It's so black, it's starting to rain. So the weatherman is never right. So you always want to stay prepared. You always want to stay on top of what you think gonna happen in your heart. Cause ain't nobody could prepare yourself for situations like you can. So what I'm saying is the weatherman was wrong. I ain't seen rain till a day. But the hurricane supposed to been in past and went up on us because it turned. So that's why they opened everything back up, supposedly. But today it looked like that bitch about to hit 9. Boy, I'm telling you, it's so black out here and it's raining. It's really raining out here. So the weatherman not right all the time.
No,
No.
see these weathermen, you know, they make predictions or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really take that as a gospel. They're relying on computer models, and
Yeah,
they're relying on a whole bunch of science, math, all the stuff that gets that plays a part in these computer models being generated and all that. So I mean, um, so
Damn
with
the weather, man. Just look outside, look for yourself.
this what I want to ask y'all. Do you really think they can control the weather?
see that's I mean with the they can control the weather through the climate, right?
Yeah,
All the stuff they putting out in the atmosphere and all that, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and all the stuff they're putting in the water and all that stuff affects the climate. So in a way, you are kind of controlling the weather. Why you think so? Like the Hurricane Hugo, right? Now Hurricane Hugo was bad, right? Back in 1989, right?
yeah.
Come to 2005, and Katrina was much worse.
Yep.
Like Hurricane Katrina, man. I mean, it practically almost wiped out New Orleans.
Hey,
Yep.
this what I want people to understand about that storm, though, bro. If listen, this what I want y'all to understand too when I tell y'all this. Hurricane Katrina was a big storm, no doubt about it. But say, bro, Rita was bigger and stronger. Why that bitch ain't breached none of them levels when they put it back up in 2008? When they fixed everything and opened the city back up in 2006, 2007, because it took like 6 months for them to clear that water out that bitch. So when people started going back home, it happened August 29, 2005. People ain't start going back home to like after Mardi Gras, damn near the middle of that next year, damn near a whole year. So when they went to going back, checking on this shit, trying to clean it out, seeing what they could salvage, who house was hit the worst. Dog, you gotta understand, when they got this shit back up and running, Rita came in 2008, 3 years later. Dog, I mean that same year, my bad, my bad. That bitch did not breach nothing. Then the trip part about that, 2008, Gustav was bigger than both of them. With how wide it was, the eye of the storm, and how strong the winds was. That bitch ain't breached them levels, dog. That's how I knew them niggas blew that shit. They flood all the blacks so they can go with their plan by building casinos. And then it started that shit already. Like the shit is ridiculous how they trying to move us out our section. Y'all keep moving us. Where the fuck we gonna go? Y'all act like y'all really want us to go back to Africa or something. And we not even much from that motherfucker.
Nope.
Like for real, dog. What is y'all plan for doing all this shit like that? We was down there living ghetto fabulous, minding our own motherfucking business, and now y'all got us everywhere. Like I'm I'm used to seeing people on an everyday basis that I can't see no more. Like my mom, my grandparents, my sisters, my first cousins. I got like 3 cousins out here where I'm at, and a bunch of New Orleans people that I know from different sections. But this is not my immediate family. My immediate family went back home. They left this bitch soon they got a chance to go back home. Cause ain't no place like home. But what they fail to realize, our home ain't no more home, dog. It's already a small confine. So you want to try to expand yourself by going to a bigger and a better place. Which the next stop to us and the closest stop was either Atlanta going east, Houston going west. If you go up north, go towards Midwest to north, you're gonna hit those little sections. Oklahoma, and all that. St. Louis. Other than that, nigga, man, where we gonna go? Like all this shit have a purpose to it, dog. We gotta find out what they trying to do so we could capitalize on it, so we can have our shit together. My
Right.
whole option of that shit was if Katrina was big, but Rita was bigger than Katrina, and Rita ain't bust no levees up or made it flood like that. Then 3 years later in 2008, you have Gustav. Dog, this bitch was tearing shit up. I was in Baton Rouge. We was getting the outskirts and was getting hit hard. Trees everywhere on airlines in Florida, up and down that bitch. Power out for 2-3 weeks. But you mean to tell me them two motherfuckers ain't breached the level, Rita and Gustav? But you trying to tell me Katrina did, and that was smarter than both of the ones that came behind them?
You know what I think? You know what I think? This is my opinion, James. Remember Katrina hit Florida first, right?
Yeah, it's gonna hit Florida because Florida is in the water and it's coming up. So
Right.
when you take that trail, just look at how all them hurricanes take the same path, dog.
Yeah.
Like this
They all
one
take
turned
that
down
same
Texas.
path.
This bitch turned down Texas. This last one, Laura. But that bitch was headed straight for us, the eye and everything. But that bitch turned for some reason. That's why I try to tell people. We were supposed to get hit by Katrina on the 26th. That bitch turned, went back in the Gulf, sat there from the 26th, 27th, 28th. That bitch come back on August 29th while everybody in that bitch sleep and punished us. And they add the icing on the cake when they blew the levees, the water come in. Why the water wasn't like that throughout the whole city when that whole city is shaped like a cereal bowl? Why just one corner is flooded and this part not flooded, the Garden District not flooded, the Superdome not flooded, the French Quarter not flooded? Across the river ain't much get no water.
This why this is what I was say, like I don't know whether or not they can manipulate the movement of a storm, but I remember, like you said, Katrina was moving slower. And
Yeah,
when they started forecasting it was going to hit New Orleans, that area, I think they planned then when they had a couple days to do it. I think then they planned to flood y'all out in that area. I think they put the explosives in the levees right then when they had a chance to do it because they wanted to do that from the get go, and they said that it'll be a perfect opportunity to do it because we got a storm coming. We can blame it on the storm. That's what I think happened.
that's what it was. Too Raw, you hitting it right on the nail, bro. Let me tell you something. The whole situation about that Katrina thing, they trying to build casinos. They know it's a tourist city, like I told y'all, because of the Bayou Classic, the Essence, the Super Bowls, the Sugar Bowls, Mardi Gras. It's a tourist city. The French quarters bring people in and out that bitch on the daily, and we almost be knowing these people be from this part of the country, that part of the country, this part of other states, this part of other states, and they come in daily to support this community. But where they got mad at us at, because when Red Nigga came out after the storm, and that nigga said something about Chocolate City, but that nigga got indicted.
Oh, I
Soon he
remember
tried to
him.
label that
Oh,
bitch
Ray
black.
Nagin.
Soon
I
that
remember
nigga
him.
talking about some black power, returning this back to Chocolate City. Man, the white people sat back. Oh shit, 22 counts of indictment came down on that nigga head quick. Dog, you can't go to. I always believe you can't go to war with these people unless your money right. That's why when I tell people when you start a business, you think the nigga who started Walmart did it by himself? No, it's buku niggas bidding on that shit. And that shit just grows. People won't come on, people come on. People don't. That's how my cousin got franchised through Subways, but he still wound up selling 3 of them and kept one. You can do it, dog, without having to sell out for all that bag where they're controlling you to the narrative where everything you say gotta be a fucking what they call that shit they put on a muzzle. They're always trying to muzzle a nigga. You feel me? You can't always muzzle people when I'm putting this type of money involved in this kind of business project with you. I should have some say so too. But when you got more people involved, more egos involved, then you got people clashing. Shit, this is what you get. Niggas tearing cities down by cities, and we don't even see that shit. Dog, they railroaded us, boy. That's why niggas couldn't wait to go back and take that shit back. Now they putting a hold on some of the casinos that they building. They done already try to do one of them. But it's so much shit that's going on just in the politician world that'll have this hurricane shit that's coming by because it's hurricane season for them to go on along with their plan even much deeper into getting it going, like putting it in motion. So we was blind by the fact. We didn't know. We didn't know what they was doing until Ray Nagin got indicted. And I was like, nigga, you a politician. You playing ball with them niggas. And they still, like I said, somebody got to take the fall. You go up there playing with them people and you try to renege on a bet, nigga, you doing time, nigga. People gonna lock you up. How many people you seen beat charges after charges, fucking with them type people that almost get a court date? But here this nigga got 10 years, 22 count indictment. You can't renege on them white people once you sign that paperwork, man. I don't give a fuck what you do for this community. I tell you to do for this community when I want you to do for it. By you coming back talking about some chocolate city, you got all the lights flashing like we baby Las Vegas. And they got lights all on the Superdome. He just spending money all kind of ways. Other people hungry, stupid ass. Oh, you really trying to help them, huh? Oh, because if we flood y'all, lock this nigga up. He ain't about to renege on us and think we ain't gonna have no last word on that shit. That's why I tell people, man, stop, don't do that for that money, man. $1 million, you can take $1 million yourself and flip it. How many people wish they had a fucking million, even though it ain't nothing? Stop trying to live above your means. You could build an $80,000 to $100,000 house. You still got $900,000. Who need $1 million fucking house anyway? So what you gonna do with them $900,000? You gonna invest the right way, build a couple of things to help your community, or build it on the outskirts so you can keep the money going, so you can put back in the community that way. If you feel like they're gonna vandalize your shit or they gonna hate on you, I always know.
Hey, I'm gonna get a meal order bride. That's bullshit. I just bullshit. Yeah, you definitely want to.
Nah, that's all I wanted to say though, bro. It's just that they playing too many mind games with us, and we just gotta catch up. Like they playing checkers, dog. I mean, we playing checkers and they playing chess.
Basically,
and then the people who get in those positions that's our color, they say they're gonna do this, say they're gonna do that when they get in the office, and they turn the other cheek, like every other fucking politician or political office person who run for those candidates. They only do that shit to get in the office to feed themselves, to feed their circle. They ain't worrying about everybody else and what they going through. And that's one thing my people do have bad, bro. We say we're gonna do something when we get the power, when we get the position to do it, and we act like we get lost in the system. And that's all I have to say about that, because it's proof in the pudding. Athlete showed you them killing Michael Jackson, Prince, Pimp C, all these dudes. All that shit have something to do with that, dog. Don't think these dudes just out here taking themselves out.
Yep.
What's up, Lamont?
I came in on the end of this. What was y'all saying about the hurricanes? Y'all saying it's like man-made or something?
No, I was asking them, Lamont. Salute, Lamont. I was asking them, do they think the government control the weather?
Okay. No,
I'm not saying it's true. I'm just asking because let me tell you something. The reason why I said that, because they said the hurricane supposed to hit out here, but it turned. So the weatherman never right. So we don't know what's gonna happen. So they had everybody out here in stores. They ain't had no water for like 2-3 days. Nigga done bought all the spam, pie to meat up, crackers. Nigga ain't got shit to eat. Now you done ran through them 2 days worth of food, thinking the hurricane gonna hit. And like I told LB, if you look at the weather in Houston now, the rain is here. It's dark. Like it's fucking 7 o'clock. Nigga don't get dark till like 4:45. It's been dark since like 6:30. The rain been coming down. Like I'm just saying, like they're not always right. So do you think they control the weather when they tell you it's coming this day and it don't come, but it'll double back and hit your ass another day when you're not prepared?
I don't think they control the weather. I think that'd be too difficult to do. Because the reason why these weathermen are so off, they can only predict like rain. And the reason why it's so unpredictable is because of the global winds. Global winds can change that's what controls hurricanes. And so they can predict the movement of a hurricane. Like I was in Florida. It was a couple years ago when a hurricane hit Florida, and I was in Orlando. And I was just hoping the global winds took that thing away from Florida so I can enjoy the rest of my trip. I ended up being stuck in a hotel the whole time because they had to shut everything down. But I think what they do is the way they can control it is when you start, especially in the South, and I noticed this in Louisiana, even in Mississippi, when you start destroying your wetlands and you start building levees so you can develop those in wetlands, Well, the levees are like when you destroy your wetlands, that's nature's defense against hurricanes. That's what naturally stops the flooding. And in the South, because they're trying to develop all that land, y'all are destroying y'all wetlands, turning them into levees, which can be broken, which can cause a lot of flooding, and that's what's causing the problem. I think sometimes you have to let certain places be.
I
You
feel
can't
that.
develop everything, and when you
Yeah.
start to try to mess with nature and you start developing stuff that's not supposed to be developed, that you get penalized for it because levees is man-made. Wetlands are made by nature, and that's nature's defense against hurricanes. I would much rather rely on nature's defense against hurricanes as opposed to man-made levees, which, as we see, can easily be broken and cause massive flooding. So, I don't want to say this is man-made or man-controlled. I don't get into that, but I just think there's a lot of stuff we can do if we just had education um, about and this is another thing, a lot of black people live in these communities. When if we controlled our communities, if we control, if we spoke to our local leaders and our local politicians and said, you know what, we're not going to allow you to develop and tear down these wetlands because this is what protects us when these hurricanes come. I think if more people actually stood up and did stuff like that, that would be more beneficial in the long run, because one thing you can't control is hurricanes coming. Once the hurricane's on his way, it's on his way.
Yeah.
And you just have to just be prepared for it. But it doesn't help when you destroy all your wetlands. That's the main thing.
Hey, you know what? I do agree with you on the wetland, because you know why? Before they destroyed all that trying to build on the west side, knowing it's gonna sink anyway every time it rain or flood. So you're taking away from the shit where it's supposed to go at, so we won't get affected by it as much. Like you said, because once that levee do break that you built on the shit that's supposed to protect us from, that's gonna let all the water in anyway, because it's already on top of the fucking water. Because that's all wetlands is. Like the shit that took over, because half of that shit was cities. You feel me? Like if you go through Boza, Whiskey Bay, and you ride that long ass Apichalata Bridge, you'll see all the wetlands that started this shit. To now, it ain't no more. Like everywhere you go is land on top of that shit. That's why we always sink every time a storm hit. They say we going below
Mm-hmm.
sea level. We sinking below sea level. Who want have to keep living like that? And everybody got to keep every time a hurricane hit, we got to worry about if we gonna go underwater, or we got to live this way, or we got to prepare for shit that way. Like you say, everybody supposed to be on the same page for us not wanting to build these levees. But when you start a petition through the black community and it go up to the higher rankings, some kind of way it get lost. Because I remember at one time, my grandfather said they signed one for Bessie in '65, not to do the levees. You feel me? But they still did them, and Bessie, by the strong winds, knocked them bitches down, and they blew them bitches too to knock them down. Like it's been 20 years, so every 20 years you gotta expect this shit from that city, from the corruption that they do. That's why I say somebody had to take the fall. So when Ray Nagin came out talking about some chocolate city shit, dog, they indicted that nigga. Man, they get that nigga 10 years, 22 counts. How you get all these counts now and you just ran for 2 terms for 8 years? But now all of a sudden you for the blacks and you helping them. Now they want to indict you on this. They bringing up shit that happened before you was in office, when you was training to be in the office. Boy, that 22 indictment had all kind of shit on Ray Nagin. That's why I'm asking that question about, do they control and play with a lot of things that we don't know about? Because we don't own no spaceships to go up there and see what the fuck they doing. And I watched Twister, dog. That's a nice movie. They make movies to see if we dumb or we gonna catch on to me. But certain things I don't agree with in some movies, just like The Day After Tomorrow, man, the people knew what was gonna happen. Why you think Sydney hit? They made that movie how many years before Sydney hit that bitch? No, they do shit to put it in movies to see if we gonna catch on, and we just thinking, boy, that was a 5 years movie. The whole while I think they playing on a nigga.
You right about that, James. Like think about James. What is Kentucky, Pittsburgh, Ohio known for?
What you talking about, Lou?
Kentucky, Ohio, and Pittsburgh known for coal mines. they basically tear down a whole lot of land that they get coal from out these states. And while I'm living at, I can see all the factories that is pumping up all that toxic waste up in the air. That's why we're getting all these rains and tornadoes and other things, because they pumping up that toxic waste in the air, so they can produce more coals for the whole country.
All right, you ever seen them jets fly in the air and be shooting that shit out like they're making
Yeah,
a cloud?
I
Dog,
live.
nigga
I
put me
live.
on that shit, so I had to do my homework, bruh. And that's some fucked up shit if that's true. But you
James,
know, it's a story for another day, dog. I know they spraying chemicals out here. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I've
that
heard of
is
that too.
that
Huh?
is
You said that too, Lamar?
Yeah, I heard of that. I've seen that too.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, like certain
Yeah.
shit you really have to teach yourself. That's all I'm saying. So when people put you on shit, don't be like, man, that nigga tripping, man. If you do your own homework, dog, that shit runs deep. I'm talking about, like Eddie Murphy said, I gotta go deep on Beverly Hills Cops, deep undercover on this one, Cap. Yeah,
You know
that
what's
shit runs
interesting?
deep.
You know what's interesting about that airplane thing? When did commercial airlines really start? Like in the 60s, maybe? Like widespread commercial airlines?
I couldn't even tell you too, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
What would you say, Lamar, about the 60s?
I wouldn't even be able to tell you that one. I ain't even gonna lie.
Okay.
The best
I'm
way we can
guessing in the
find out is
60s.
Google though. Who got a computer
Right.
right there?
Maybe the
Google that
60s
shit.
when it started. And when you think about it, you do wonder what influence does the exhaust from planes and jets have on the weather? Because it does seem like global warming might have started maybe like late 70s into the 80s gradually.
Oh, 1950s. 1950s.
Yeah, because I was about to
Okay.
say it happened before that because Bessie hit in 65.
Okay.
That
Well,
that shit
okay.
they been started that shit. So that's why I'm asking. If it ain't been like that all this time, somebody had to start it to be like that. So that's why I asked, do people really control the weather? Because that jet be flying around people's neighborhoods shooting that shit up out there like it's trailing smoke and shit. Dog, that shit got something in there, man. I don't give a fuck what a nigga say.
I don't know if I would say control, but I do think we might have some effect on the weather.
Influence. Yeah, you can influence it. I don't know if we can. But you know what? If y'all do y'all research, there's a place in the world, I think it might be in Dubai, where they came up with a technology to where they know how to like make it start raining so there's no droughts. Go look that up. It's Dubai. They came up with some type of technology where they can see the clouds and make it rain every so often. But definitely go check that out. They can see clouds and make it rain. Now that's something that they can do. And I know that's going on right now. You can just go look it up. It's happening in Dubai. It's a really rich community out there. And they do this every so often for a certain reason. You know, Dubai is one of the richest places in the world anyway. But definitely go check that out. So they can influence the weather, but it's called cloud seeding. But they
I was
make
just
it
about
rain.
to say that, Lamont, because I was out there and I was in Dubai back when I was deployed in 2012. I was out there.
Who the fuck came up with that shit there? Whatever the fuck that is. Who built all that shit over there for them
Man,
people?
a whole
like
bunch of, man, I'm telling you, man, you don't understand the gravitas about that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's an oil-rich country, right? So a lot of those guys out there, they drive a Mercedes-Benz for taxi cabs, okay? We roll around here in Crown Victorias. They roll around in Dubai driving Mercedes-Benz, using Mercedes-Benz as a goddamn taxi cab.
They make Beverly Hills and Hollywood look like a third world country.
Basically,
I'm telling you now, dog. They
make New York City look second rate.
Don't you need a passport to get over there anyway?
Yeah, you're gonna need a passport.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, dog. That's fucking crazy.
But I'm telling you, man, look, it's crazy out there, man. Look, if you call yourself trying to touch pussy out there, man, you going to jail, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that PDA out there. You try to look up a porn site, all that shit's blocked over there. You know what I'm saying? I know, I tried. I tried going on Naughty America. They blocked that shit.
Naughty America.
Hey,
Y'all
ain't
want to
nothing wrong
know?
with that,
Y'all want,
LB. You gotta do what you gotta do, dog, when you ain't laying next to nothing.
James, you
Huh?
want to know where all that smoke come from the factories and everything else? Actually,
Yeah.
they burn the coal, and they call Pittsburgh the Steel City because they still make steel down there. Meaning they put the steel in the fire where the smoke comes up into the air too. Down here, they working the coal mine from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Then they have another shift work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. They actually had to burn the coal, burn some of the coals in the mine so they can produce more. So that smoke goes up in the air too. So that's where all that smoke comes from. And plus, I live right near the airport. I live on the 26th floor in my apartment. I can see the airplane coming back and forth and see that smoke coming from the engines.
And that's crazy, bro. Dog, these bitches up to something, dog. I just don't know what it is.
No,
I
I don't think it is. I think it's all driven by money. And then this
Yeah.
is why certain political parties, they don't like to advocate for this global warming movement because it's going to affect their money. When you invested in certain companies, oil companies, coal companies, steel companies, when you invest in these companies, you don't want them to shut down. You don't want them to change their practices. Again, it just becomes political, and when it becomes political, that's when you start having one party saying, "Oh, the global warming is fake," and then other people saying, "No, this is actually a real thing we need to start taking care of or trying to address." But it's like if we didn't in the United States, if we didn't make everything so political, we get so much more done. But stuff now is all driven by money. That's why the Medicare system is messed up. It ain't about healing people; it's about money. Medicines that cost pennies, it costs thousands of dollars now. I mean, it's just all messed up here in the United States, especially.
It's driven
yeah.
yeah, man. Just driven by money and greed, man. You got greedy ass motherfuckers out here, man.
Yeah.
You know, and shout out to Stephanie Hughes in the building, man. I appreciate you, Queen. Yeah, man. Especially with hey, so I got a question, right? So when all that flooding, man, what the hell? James, that's you?
What?
No. Somebody out there sound like they underwater.
Oh yeah, that's the rain hitting the car. Hold, you go ahead.
So anywho, when all that flooding happened in New Orleans or whatever like that, man, how they get all that water down? I'm just curious about how they was able to get all that water out.
Hey, they shut 3 of the pumps down anyway. Like the pumps that was in the city that pumped the water back into the Mississippi River, they shut them bitches off, and they only left one nigga in there to work, and that nigga wind up leaving. See the stories that they tell y'all, they ain't gonna tell y'all that. If you look it up, it's on the internet too. Look up the Susan Water Board man who got stuck in Katrina, and then he gonna tell you the whole story. He uploaded that bitch himself on there. So he was like, man, they got me up in here working these pumps. But these pumps over here don't work, and the ones on 17th Street don't work, where they blew the levees at. That's why they cut the ones off on 17th Street and sent them to that one. So they got him down there where the niggas at, where when they blew the ones where the 17th Street canal at, that part right there was just another fucking version of we knew what they was trying to do. Because if you gonna shut the ones off by the 17th Street canal and send him to the ones where the black people at, they act like you trying to save somebody. Come on, dog. Why you ain't leave him over there? And why you sent the ones that was home at the one that you sending him to? So niggas just got to sit back and watch the games that these bitches be playing. And they left one nigga to work the water pumps. Then he on a boat trying to ride from the pump that they sent him to get back to his original pump to help them people on their side. But he couldn't do it because the water started taking. No, you know, in certain sections, you had people looking at water walk 3 to 4 feet up high. So if you're standing in the middle of the street and you see water walking up 3-4 feet high with trailers all in between the waters and cars floating with it, boy, you gonna be scared as a motherfucker. I heard stories where niggas just was outside chilling when that levee blew, boom, 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 the bombs and all that dynamite went off. Hot water just went to walking up the street. Niggas just looking like, boy, that water wasn't like that 2 minutes ago. Now all of a sudden the water 4 feet high, 3.5 feet high, chest high to certain people. Man, them people playing games, man. They trying to flood all the niggas. They trying to kill us. And guess what? They ain't expect all us to stick together like that, man. They didn't. I just told you the weatherman said Wednesday and Thursday. People miss Wednesday. They sent us back to work yesterday. It ain't rained none yesterday. It was like 113, hottest fish grease out here. Not a day is storming. Look like the world about to come to an end. It's so black out here. Weatherman never right, dog. They have y'all buying all that shit early so you can run through it. Now that shit look like it's about to hit us even much harder. And people done ran through that food 3 days ago. Niggas started buying food Tuesday. So you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now it's Friday. Friday we getting all the rain. And it flood bad out here on that beltway in Texas, dog. It flood out here, dog. Good thing I know how to swim, though. I ain't tripping. I ain't gonna be like Jack, bitch. You getting your ass up off this bitch. I'm swimming and laying on his hole. Jack went out like that on the Titanic. Like we tried to save a dude for Katrina, dog. His name Jonathan, bro. God bless his soul. He was a young dude, always wanted to hang up under us. So my cousin, he calling me because I got a phone. All the cell phones dead, but the only thing that was working was the plug-in phone. So he got the plug-in phone in the wall before the water came upstairs and knocked that bitch out. So they calling me, man, you all right now? Because they say supposed to hit bad in St. Bernard Parish and Violet. You down there in St. Bernard Parish, bro, be safe. I said, nigga, y'all gonna get it harder than us. Nigga, y'all tripping. So now, because we say higher than the lower 9 ward. Man, dog, I'm telling you, when they blow them levels, that shit woke me up. I said, yeah, them bitches trying to do something. They trying to kill us. I got everybody upstairs. Water came up chest feet high. We in a 4-plex. A, B, C, D. We way in D. Nigga, the McDonald's arch, the M, nigga. That part sitting in the middle of our apartment complex, floating in the water. Nigga looking like, boy, what the fuck?
Whoa.
Then the man in the apartment's on the other side.
So you saying that McDonald's was like Whack Arnold's on Chappelle's show?
Yeah, like no, it was still like the roof part with the M on it, like the small part. Dog, that bitch was sitting in the middle of our apartments, dog. We just sitting there looking like, dog, is that a McDonald's building in front of our door? Only thing you see is the big golden arch. The dude say, hey, the shit just got here. What y'all got over there? I said, man, we got whatever, but I said, we ain't got no food though. I said, the water upstairs now. And I said, it done took over. He said, man, I'm gonna throw this rope and I'm gonna come over there by y'all so I can help you bust the wall so we can get to the front. Cause I'm a little disabled. I can't. So me and my brother-in-law at the time, the chick who I was going with, we had a long ass rope because we went and got everything. We had a long ass rope. We had hammers. We had crowbars. We had slit. We had we had a saw, but we ain't had electric kind. It's just in case we had to go cut the roof out and get on the roof. So we threw the rope over there. The nigga got on that bitch. He walking on a McDonald's sign, but he keeps slipping. He's scared. I said, man, you ain't gonna go in the water as long as we got the rope. Me and my brother-in-law pulling this nigga. We pulling him. So when he get over there and we climb, we grab him through the window. And he's like, man, your shit just like mine. I said, I told you, nigga, we chest high over here. He said, I prayed. I said, dog, I prayed so that water don't keep coming up on these kids. And now it's like 12, 13 niggas in this bitch. Because we done added one more. Now, the people come. They had some power lines right by the window that we knocked out. He was like, man, see if y'all can get to the front of the apartments because I don't want to play around that power line. So now I got to bust the wall. We had to go through my closet. I knocked the sheetrock down. I'm popping the studs with my body and my stomach, like, boom, popping them bitches. Going to the next apartment. Got all the way to the front. They got the ladies, and the 3 youngest was out. It was like 6 of them at first. Then they came back and got the other 6. But we stood in that house 7 days in that water. That shit was hectic, dog. I don't wish that shit on nobody. Dog, it felt like we was at the end of no return, dog. Like, what we gonna do? We can't do nothing. We're in the water. We can't go nowhere. Dog, this shit is fucking, like, serious, dog. I don't wish this on nobody, dog. I seen people floating in that water. Man, that shit fucked me up. And it had me traumatized because I lost the shit that I got because I wasn't working. It wasn't no tax money. And that shit fucked me up. That was like 15 years ago. That shit really hit me hard. Like, I'm like, damn. Now I gotta go deal with these white folks in this FEMA line to get something that I had to work for. They wasn't gonna get that shit to me. Everybody getting 10,000, everybody getting 26,000. The bitches ain't giving me nothing. And I'm looking, the chick who I'm with, she got 26 grand and they gave her 10. So that's like almost 40 bands. She gave me like $500 to $700. So I'm keep writing FEMA. I'm like, man, what about my shit? I lost personal stuff. I ain't worrying about no house money. You feel me? I said you could get a house money to her and them kids. Just give me something to start my own life with over. Y'all just trying to ignore me because I ain't got no house to claim. Y'all keep talking about my personal property. Now first, it's the homeowners first and the people who was renting. I'm like, what? So what about us? So you gonna just keep sweeping us to the back? So like 2007, FEMA sent me a check for $1,539. I'm already home. I ain't need that shit. But it was something. I ain't cry over it. I just had to do what I needed to do to provide for me and my family at that time. I helped the best way I could. By me being in California from 05 to 09, I'm being from New Orleans down south, cost of living high. You don't want to give me my money to start my life. I'm trying to work as it is, but you trying to pay me $8.50, $9, $10. I'm like, no indeed, man. I just was getting paid $17. I'm not about to go back down there.
Hey
And that was
man, I'd like to
15 years ago.
hey, you Stephanie Dews mentioned something about Hurricane Laura knocking down Confederate statue they voted not to take down, right?
Oh yeah, I seen that, LB.
Hey man, you know the hurricanes don't give a fuck about none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look what we got going on in the United States now. We got, you know, ongoing pandemic with the coronavirus, right? You know what I'm saying? We got, you know, racial protests going on right now. You know, Hurricane Laura coming. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
LB, it's raining hard out here right now, and people still outside protesting.
I'm telling you, dog.
Hey, you are in Louisville, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, y'all outside that motherfucking that Kentucky Fried Cool made from 11 herbs and spices house?
no, they right now they downtown where City Hall is at protesting.
Oh, I know there's demonstrations out in DC. I'm not gonna drive out in DC tonight, man. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Last time they were demonstrating out there, motherfucker was demonstrating how to shoot and how to loot. So yeah, fuck that. Man, that shit was crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God damn.
Dog, you
know
should
what I'm
see how hard it's raining right now, dog. We getting the outskirts of whatever just passed.
Hey man, we supposed to get that shit tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And hey, too raw. I was down there in Richmond a couple days ago, bro. I was down there a couple days ago. You know what I'm saying? I had to stop by the little cake spot Shindigs out there by VCU.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, man, that's like my favorite cake spot, dog. Man, them cakes up there, man. God damn, them shits be off the chain, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of cakes out in VCU.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, look. Cakes and pies, cakes and pies. That's my shit right there, man. That Shindigs is my spot, yo. There's another spot I like. I think it's called Brothers Burger or something like that. There's a burger spot right there on VCU campus as well.
Brothers Burgers. I probably have seen it, but I just have to see it. I probably just have to look at it and be like, oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, man. I went there one time. VCU campus. I'm looking it up on Google right now.
Have you ever been to Black Sheep?
No, I haven't been to Black Sheep yet.
Okay. Yeah, they pretty good.
No, not Carytown, not Lucy's. I think Lucy's the one that got the Juicy Lucy in there. You know what I'm saying? Carytown. Man, I forgot the name of the damn restaurant, man. I know if I went down to Richmond, I would see it or whatever like that, man. But God, man, I got a Western burger from there, man. Oh my God, man, that shit was, man. I'm telling you, man, that shit was off the chain.
Yeah, Richmond got a lot of some good hole in the wall places. You know what I'm saying? Get away from all that nasty processed, stuff from the regular, killer joints. They got some nice, other places, to eat and stuff. Especially like where VCU is, all the way down like to like the Fan District on down. A lot of nice restaurants out there.
Yeah, really nice restaurants out there, man. You know what I'm saying? I got, I be going to DC to eat at sometimes, man. But hey, Richmond got some really good spots too, man. I know, man. That's why, man. That's why I can't stand coronavirus, man, because they supposed to have this festival out there later on this year with bacon. This is supposed to be like this bacon festival out there, dog.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. I've never been to it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Man, that shit was, man. I want to go to that shit so bad. I want that chocolate covered bacon, dog.
And then because of coronavirus, I don't think they're gonna have this either. Usually we have the Second Street Festival in Richmond at the beginning of October. I don't think we're having that this year because of what's going on. I know we're not gonna have it.
Oh yeah, it's called Four Brothers Bistro. That's what it's called.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Four Brothers Bistro, man. Those hamburgers are off the chain, bro. Oh my God, man.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, man, I know what you're talking
about. They about to close right now, man. But shit, if I'm out there tomorrow, man, I might go get me one. Hamburgers are so fucking good, bro.
So, bro, how far you stay from there, LB?
What, from Richmond?
Yeah.
1 hour.
And you ride all of them bitches must be good, boy.
Hey, dog. Hey, when I was living in Charleston, hey, bro. Hey, when I was living in Charleston, man.
Send me your address. I'm about on my way. I want to taste one of them bitches if they that good.
Man, them shit's good as fuck, bro. I tell you, man, I drive anywhere for food, bro. Dog, I driven to Philadelphia just to get cheesesteaks, bro. You know what I'm saying?
God damn, how far that is, LB?
Philadelphia, where I'm living, about 3.5 hours.
God damn, you just be rolling, huh?
Yeah, you see me rolling. I don't have expired tax, so I ain't riding dirty. What's up, too, Ron?
I said, when you gotta have something, you gotta have it.
I know, right? You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers drive, shit. Motherfuckers fly across. Hey, man, I knew a girl that was on my ship that flew 7 time zones east for dick. All the dick she could get around in the different and within the fucking arm's length of her, you know what I'm saying? She flew 7 time zones out the Bahrain. You fly from Virginia to motherfucking Bahrain to get dick. You know what I'm saying? That's dedication. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit, when you gotta have it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like James said, when I was living in Charleston, South Carolina, because I was stationed down there when I was in the military. Hell, I driven 2 hours to Savannah for just to get ribs. You know what I'm saying? Because my homeboy recommended this spot called Smoke down in Savannah. And man, when I tell you, man, hey, you can tell you was at the right spot because the whole entire street be smoking. You thought it was a goddamn fog when you roll up in that bitch, man.
Man, I'm so mad at this. The cop down here killed somebody who was the best barbecue.
Oh yeah, I remember that story.
Oh yeah,
man, he made some best barbecue ever. Everybody used to always eat his barbecue on the street, man. Like when they killed him, man, I was like, man, people were so upset about that.
And rightfully so, man. You know what I'm saying? But does that Kentucky Fried Coon does anything about that? No.
He ain't doing his job right now. He's more on work. He's more worried about helping Donald Trump become president once again.
That bastard had time. So let me get this straight. That Kentucky Fried motherfucking Coon Daniel Cameron. Yeah. So you got time to be at the out there with your fucking fiance who turns out it's Mitch McConnell's granddaughter, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You talk about an ass kisser.
A boot licking, buck dancing.
Yes.
Oh, you know, why can't Hurricane Laura take him away? Shit.
Like
Anyway.
I'm proud to be from Louisville because I was born and raised here, but I'm ashamed of my city. I'm ashamed to be from Kentucky right now because we got this guy who's supposed to be a black man, not even trying to get justice for Breonna Taylor. Man, that's sad.
Man, he can get the fuck out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He got some nerve to use that as a political prop. You know what I'm saying? That shit disgusting. You know what I'm saying? I know we talk about hurricanes and all that, but there's a thing that's way worse than hurricanes right now is those bootlicking, buck dancing sellouts. But anyway, but yeah, so let me get this straight. So the Kentucky Fried Coon made from the original 11 herbs and spices had time to be at a wedding gathering, right? You know, so blissfully in love, right? Then get this. The motherfucker had time to be at the Republican National Convention. Hey, my name is Daniel Cameron, and I'm the Attorney General for Kentucky. And you know, and we need to do everything possible so we can re-elect President Trump for 4 more years in office. Right? You got time to do all that shit, but you ain't got time to find Breonna Taylor's killers, right? But yet you got the gall, you got the fucking kahunas to mention her name at a Republican National Convention. Man, look, I'm telling you right now, man, football players are the biggest fucking coons, man. If it ain't Jerry Rice out there with a chicken drumstick on his helmet, right? You got Herschel Walker out there, you know, running around here talking about, man, you know, it hurts me to my soul that they call Trump a racist. You know what? It hurts me to my soul that you're a fucking sellout coon bitch. What up, Juanetta?
What's up, y'all?
How you doing, Queen?
What's up, Queen?
I just want to say shout out to Too Raw. I'm one of your biggest supporters on your channel. It's my first time letting you know face to face. I love that your history on the game, and I just appreciate that you keep it out there and let these young people know what it is, what it was. So big ups to Too Raw.
Well, Too Raw, you in there?
Yeah. I had to pause it for a second. I had some background chatter. I'm sorry. What happened now? I'm sorry.
I said, my name is Juanetta. I'm one of your supporters. I watch your channel all the time. And I say big ups to you because you keep it real when it comes to the history of the game and all that stuff. And I just like that you put it out there and let these young people know it didn't just start with them.
Oh, yeah, I know you, Juanetta. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just, you know, I appreciate that. You know, like I really do respect the history, not just of basketball, just history, period. Because, you know what I'm saying? I just don't like the trend of people not knowing their history and also not giving the respect due to those who paved the way for me and younger people. And, you know, just, you know, these people not getting their respect anymore, man. And it bothers me. It bothers me how, you know, how people don't get their respect. It bothers me that people don't know their history, you know, whether it comes to sports or just, you know, our people. So it's just, yeah, so that's what I try to do on my channel, you know what I'm saying? I just try to, you know, give respect to people who I think don't get it anymore. And you know, sometimes it do seem like, oh, Mike, you know, Too Raw, you hating on LeBron. It's not that I'm necessarily hating on them. It's just that I'm trying to combat all of the, you know what I'm saying, because I see what the media does. Like the people and, you know, in the media, they have an agenda. And unfortunately, you know, people currently are being used for their agenda. But my target is always, you know, the people who are manipulating stuff, not those people, you know what I'm saying? So, but thank you, though.
Yeah, because like I'm like you. I think MJ is the GOAT. But if people say that all the people that say, well, no, it's Kareem. Hey, I respect it. I'm not gonna argue with you. I didn't see
Right,
Kareem, but I can respect why they think Kareem is the
Hey
GOAT. I
Google,
can see it. I'm
stop.
not
right,
gonna down it, you know what I mean? But it's like when we say MJ Kareem is the GOAT to these people who love LeBron, I'm like, what? They think you think you got two heads growing out your neck or something for
right.
even saying that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's like you said. I think it's Mike, but there are other people that think it's Kareem. Some people think it's Wilt. You know, Magic maybe, and I don't have no problem. Kobe. You know, maybe when I was a little bit younger, I had some issues with stuff like that. But as I've matured, you know, you got to respect people who have an educated opinion. But like you said, but I've noticed a lot of people who like LeBron, they see what on TV, like like it's hammered as if it's a fact, you know,
Yeah.
and they don't see anything else, so they just know that. So when they hear people like us, they just think, oh, well, we're just hating on LeBron, but it's like, no, that's not a fact that LeBron's a GOAT. In fact, a lot of people don't share that opinion, and you know, and I'm just trying to present my point of view, you know, and why I think that it may not be LeBron and other people, you know. But yeah, like,
But do you
mhm,
think this is? I think this is the case too. I think they know LeBron is not the GOAT. They just trying to be contrarian. They know
yeah,
Michael Jordan is the GOAT, but
yeah,
because
I think it's that.
certain people are hate on people's greatness. Some people love greatness. Some people hate on people's greatness, so they want to be contrarian to that. And I think they
Yeah,
do that on purpose. I think Nick Wright does that on purpose. He knows LeBron is not no doggone GOAT, but he just talks crap because
right,
he has a platform to talk crap.
right. Because you know, back in the day, Nick Wright used to be real big on Kevin Durant. He thought Kevin Durant was the best player in the league. Then all of a sudden, he just mysteriously became this huge LeBron
Supplement.
fanboy.
I tell you what happened to Kevin Durant didn't sign his autograph. That's what he did. Kevin Durant didn't sign his basketball, so that's when he reversed course.
Yeah,
Hey, hey, too raw though, but I like your last video you did on Stephen A. Smith. Like you were totally right on point about him.
He a bitch,
He
man.
code
Stephen A.
yeah,
Smith
switching.
is a fucking
He
bitch.
switches up. He's a switcher. Because one time when they came out with, like you said, when they said, when the Bucks said we're gonna protest and everybody else follows, this before the meeting and everything, everybody know what happened to me. Oh, Stephen A. Oh, this is unprecedented. Oh, I'm so for these brothers. And then the next day, oh, they didn't have a plan. So this is what yeah. So now you were for it at first, but now that you got your people up in there trying to put holes into what these brothers was trying to do, and pit people, and also bringing out false narratives and stuff from what happened in that meeting. Now you're not for it. Now you like, well, they shouldn't have thought they did that because not everybody was on board. It
But
wasn't
this
for everybody. It
no,
was
go ahead,
about
go ahead, finish one then.
it was about the Bucks. This was their city. They wanted to do what they wanted to make a stand, and also because of what happened to Sterling. He had just dealt not too long ago with his own police brutality when they was trying to they stun gunned him and just for parking. See, he didn't even committed just for parking somewhere. Instead of giving him a ticket and letting him correct his parking, they knew who he was. That's why they stepped on his ankle because they knew he was a basketball player.
right.
They
And
knew he
see,
wasn't a criminal. They did that out of power and out of jealousy because he's
yep.
a rich black man driving a good car. They had the life that they wish they thought they should have, and not him. And that's why they was just trying to flex their little bitch ass power. So they have a history of that, and I think he's still suing them, trying to get what he deserved from them. And so they have a history of that. And apparently, uh, what's his name? The George Hill, he has a history of dealing with police and stuff like that. So it was there for them to do. We don't need LeBron's permission to do what these are grown ass men. They don't need a permission for him to do anything.
Yeah.
Just like LeBron don't need permission from anybody else to do if whatever they wanted when he want to do. So why do he think he? And I'm just hearing that he rubbed some of the people the wrong way. I don't know if it's true or not. He calling up some of these people beneath him.
Oh, LeBron.
He said me and the players beneath me. What? The players beneath you? Now I don't know if that's what really happened, but that's what basically that's what Stephen A said.
Man, Stephen A. Smith, man, see, this is the thing, right? You can't give that motherfucker no kind of credibility, man. Because
Exactly.
for
That's what I'm
one,
saying. That's what Stephen A said. So I just
yeah, 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 yeah.
put it to whether you want to believe it or not. But that's what he said. But for him
But
to
that's
say
the
that, and he's so much of a LeBron supporter,
but this the
and
thing, Juanetta. He not down there. He not
exactly.
down there. So what the fuck is he running around here running his
And,
rabbit ass mouth for? Him
and
and
apparently
Kendrick
they lied
Perkins.
about what Pat Beverly said. Pat Beverly said I pay you. They said he didn't say that, but somebody put it out there that he said that to that woman.
Yeah. See, look, if they're not Chris Haynes, that's already down there in the bubble, but right there because them dudes was on the call. Stephen A. Smith wasn't on the call. He getting secondhand information like how I'm getting secondhand smoke from a motherfucking bum outside a goddamn convenience store, right? You know, he a Bama, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what he tried
And
to
I
do, man. I don't
and I
like that
want to
motherfucker. I don't respect that motherfucker.
exactly. And I want to say to Nola, Nola, you right there,
Yes,
James?
what's up, baby?
I was stationed when we was in 2005 when before Katrina hit. My duty station, I was part of 47 Cash out of Fort Lewis, Washington. I was in a combat support hospital. We had to get stationed at Fort Polk, Louisiana that same year, that summer that year, because we were about to go to Iraq in November, late November, no, late October, yeah, October of that year. So we were stationed there before Katrina hit, and we let and that's the first time he going to Louisiana. Oh my goodness, I can't see how y'all deal with that humidity. We were sweating as soon as we got off the plane. We were sweating.
Oh
We
yeah.
wasn't doing. We just standing. We was just standing, and we was sweating. When my command sergeant major, he was down there. He gave us our MREs and stuff, our meals. He was sweating. He didn't been off the plane that long. Sweating like a greased pig. We was all looking at each other like we was like. But anyway, we was done. We got certified. We was pretty much, we was ready to whatever. That means that wherever they deployed us, we was ready to, do our job as a cash unit. So when Katrina hit, and we had a sergeant in our unit that was from Louisiana. She was worried about getting her people out there, and eventually she did. She got her peoples up out of there, and it was with her in Washington State. But our commander was asked, "Do you guys, since you was just cut down from coming from Fort Polk, Louisiana, do you guys want to be a part of the help crew, the cash unit to go set up there to help people in Louisiana and for the Katrina thing?" Our doggone, ooh, I couldn't stand him. The commander, he said no. He wanted to go to Iraq so he can get his damn combat badge. Basically, he didn't want to go and help people in our citizens. He wanted to put another notch on his doggone uniform. Because
Right.
we was like, all right, we can go to instead of going to Iraq, we can go help our peoples up there in Louisiana. We don't have to, because we didn't want to go to Iraq anyway. So
Yeah.
he said no. And he was one of them ones too. He don't want to help nobody with darker skin anyway. He want to shoot at people with darker skin.
Right.
So I'm just letting you know, we almost would have been down there and to help Katrina, but our commander, he didn't want to do it, and we was mad too.
I bet he was, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You want to go out there and help nobody, man. That's bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? All day and every day, man. You know, hey, I remember shit, when I was in Houston, I remember going to Houston one time, man. It get just as hot down there too, man. This was like in April. You know what I'm saying? My motherfucking balls was hot.
Man, you know
I
when
ain't
I
never,
jumped in the
I ain't
car
never been
today,
that hot.
it was like 106 on the car dash. I wanted to go back inside. Then like the week before this bitch hit, like the storm was coming, it was like 112, 113 when you get in your car. I'm like, God damn, like what you cooking turkey necks in this bitch?
I couldn't make it down there, man, because I mean we got humidity here in Virginia,
Hey,
but not like down there.
oh yeah, we
I
got
was
it down here,
I
bro.
was at Fort Lee, Virginia too. Virginia is not as bad as Fort Polk. That's the worst place. That's worse than Texas, and I've been in Texas too,
Hey
San
man,
Antonio.
I went in that Texas heat, man. I was in San Antonio one time, man. I called myself going on a run in April. This is like in April. You know what I'm saying? It's hotter than a bitch out there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta worry about motherfucking jackrabbits and skunks and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Bats, bats flying around in the morning.
Hell yeah. Hey man, someone ran over a skunk, man. It stunk out the whole entire street block.
Mm.
Hey, I
And
ain't gonna
heat.
lie,
Ooh.
bro. You ever say, bro? We was coming up in our city. You know, when you have a dog in your yard, they have the neighborhood cats. You don't be knowing who the fuck they be for. But this cat was on the side of the house just barking, and I had just got off because
Oh,
my,
you said cat was barking.
I mean, my bad. The dog, he had my dog barking.
Oh, I'm about to
So,
say.
you know,
But
I had just
shit,
got off because
you
my
run over
grandpa
some
had
kind
me
of
working. My
some
grandpa had me working because he told me to. I had to pay my own school budget and pay for my own trip. He was showing me how to be responsible. Plus, I was still in every sport: football, baseball, playing in a band. I ran track, so I never had time for myself. So this time I was tired, and that was my only off day. Man, I'm on a sofa in the den because it's an extra room that we call the den with the sofas and the big TV, the pool table. I'm sitting in that bitch. I'm looking at him. I'm like, man. My grandpa said, I'm about to go get me something to eat. You want something? I said, no. So I was like, boom. He left out the door. So I went to sleep. I said, man, I just got off at like 2, 3 this morning. I said, I'm going to just sleep today because I know you're going to make me go to church in the morning, which it was a Saturday. We ain't had no football game, no baseball game. We had no parade. This was my only off day that I really had to myself just to relax because it's always something I was doing. I was always in season. Like, so this fucking cat just on the side of the house and the dog right under the fucking house where I'm at. Just all day. Woo, 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 woo. So I said, man, fuck, let me go see what this nigga barking at. I walked out the door. I see like a cat and another cat. But when I see the dog can't get some, so he on the other side of the fence. The dog is in the yard under the house door, trying to get at him, like he trying to dig a hole to make his way out from out the yard to get him. So I was like, fuck. So I threw something, the bitch ain't move. I went around the other house and I ran that bitch. So I go back thinking I'm about to give me some more sleep. I done laid back down, went back to sleep. Man, this fucking cat didn't come back. So the dog back to cutting up. Rah, 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 rah. So I said, man, fuck that. My grandpa had a BB gun and I seen him do it. Not saying it was right or wrong, but when the cats come around, messing, scratching up people's trash and have it all over the block and you got to get out there and clean it up, we went and bought a BB gun. We be popping at them bitches. So, dog, look what I did. I knew my grandpa had the BB gun. So I went cock that bitch about 9 times. The one that you cock with the air pin, I'm punching that bitch till I can't cock it no more. Cause the more you cock it, the more pressure you're gonna have when the bullet, the little BB come out. That I threw something, that nigga ain't moved. So now he see me on the side of the fence, he still ain't moved. So I went all the way back around. I was on American Sniper. You heard me, LB? I laid on that fucking ground. I stuck that bitch through that hole from off the other side of the house. I hit that bitch. That bitch went bang. That bitch went, yeah. He jumped up so fucking high. I'm thinking he jumped on the fence and got the fuck. Cause soon I hit him, it's like I got spooked out. Cause now I gotta go find this nigga to see where he at for my grandpa come back with this food. Cause he gonna get us some Burger King. Man, the whole while this nigga laying in the grass dead. So I said, man, I don't see the nigga. I called my brother from around the corner, the one I was telling him about who got knocked off. I'm like, man, hey, come help me get this cat before grandpa come. He looking at me like I'm crazy. He said, nigga, you killed the cat? I said, yeah, nigga, this is my only off day. Last week I had a football game. that it's Sunday. I had to march in the parade. I'm like, nigga, fuck that shit, nigga, fuck. So he come around there. We had a bucket and a bag. I stuck that bitch in the bag, dog, and dropped that bitch in the drain in front of our door and closed that bitch. Boy, that fucking cat had the whole block lit up for like a week and a half. My grandpa come home. That nigga said, "Now what dumb motherfucker wants stick a stank ass cat in front my door? Have front my door smelling like ass all day." And when he parked there, he parked right on the drain. But the cat ain't started stinking till like 2 or 3 days. Like the bitch sat in that drain, it started raining. Washed some of that hair off. He went to deteriorating. Thought that bitch had the whole block lit up. I don't advise nobody to do that. That's why it got me a point to God put animals here. I try not to, do shit like that. But sometimes like you'll find yourself making a mistake, dog. Cause I felt like I took a cat out when I could have just ran him, but when I ran him, he came back. So I took it upon myself to get rid of this nigga. And I always felt bad about that because we had cats, we had dogs, and my grandpa bought me a rabbit. But what really made me mad, because one day it was my fault, but I'm like 13, 14 years old. We come from church. I left the rabbit I forgot to lock him up. So when we get to church, my grandpa hit me. He was like, "What you did with Jeff?" I said, "Shit, Jeff in the yard. You ain't put him in a cage?" He said, "Boy, you better be lucky he be there when we get back." Nigga, the dog, they had a dog on the back of our house and a dog on the side of our house. Now, which one did it? I don't know. Man, they had a feast with that boy. They fucked my rabbit up all because I killed that cat. And I started looking at that shit like that, dog. I'm like, dog, you can't go out here and doing dirt to nobody. God put animals here and all that. But you got to think about it. Nigga, we would be eating chicken, pork chops. Nigga, you killing animals to eat, nigga. That's why that shit be giving you diabetes and cancer and all that shit. And people don't understand that shit. That's why they telling you grow your own fruits, grow your own stuff to cook. You don't have to eat meat. They tell people don't eat meat.
And I'm
But nigga,
seriously thinking about becoming a vegetarian
yeah,
because of
but
that.
we'll still go out here and buy chicken, buy hamburgers, buy all kind of shit, knowing they slaughtering these animals. You dig? When they don't have to do that shit. They could feed us healthy shit to keep us going, but they feeding us shit that's gonna give us diabetes, cancer, all kind of shit in the long run. And man, my grandma popping like 80 fucking pills a week. I'm looking at her like 7 at a time, damn near. I'm like, you gotta take all that shit? High blood pressure, diabetes, this, that. Her eyes going bad. I'm like, God damn. Who want to live like that when the only thing we have to do is come together, all this land out here, buy our own shit, grow our own shit, and take care of our own fucking people, man. It's
And
not
all
that
that
hard.
and all them pills gonna mess up your liver.
Yeah. I be hating to take a Tylenol or Advil when I have a headache. I just sleep that shit off. In the morning, I'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm right. And but I'm gonna end the stream here. I gotta go out here and make me some money tonight. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shante,
Uber, man.
Hey, hey,
Huh?
LB, can I
Well, LB,
talk?
you gonna be on the corner or something? What you doing?
on the corner. I could be on
No,
the
he
goddamn corner. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shit. No, we
LB
don't
got
be.
his
I'm no,
jock
no, no,
strap.
no, no, no. I ain't gonna be out
He
here
about
just
to go
giving.
Uber ride with his G string on. Huh?
You gonna
LB,
be
you
a
going Uber ride
gigolo.
with your G
Hey,
string.
hey, hey, fuck all y'all
It's a lot
niggas.
of women out here. There's a lot of women out here now ready to pay for it now.
Oh, too raw.
So
He gotta put that G string on it and drive that Uber to get
G-string.
him some
Man,
money.
who is a motherfucking G-string shit? You know what I'm saying? Look, if any girls, you know
I'm
what I'm
just
saying,
fucking with you, dude.
they want some of that motherfucking GD, I'm only a full call away. God damn it.
there's a
You know
lot of
what
women
I'm
really out gonna pay for it now. These are
saying?
that's
Hey,
women,
but hey, I'll tell
especially
you
the
right
black
now, you
women.
know what I'm saying? There's qualifications. Because I do got standards. If you look like a fucking wrecking ball, you know what I'm saying? I ain't fucking you, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, LB.
You look like you could take out the side of McDonald's. I'm not about to fucking
So
Hey,
crazy, man. Why
LB.
you do that, dog?
No, because I disrespected my dick one time fucking a fat girl, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't get my dick off for 2 weeks. No lie. No
You say
lie.
you disrespected.
Yeah, I disrespected my dick fucking a fat chick, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I had to find where the pussy at. I had to lift up all the fat, you know.
But they say
Hey,
fat girls need
LB.
love too.
I remember that bitch like it was yesterday. And then she made me like a turkey spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck eats turkey spaghetti?
Turkey spaghetti.
Yeah, they had the spaghetti and they had the turkey. They had the ground turkey in there. You know what I'm saying? Talking about you trying to eat healthy. I'm like, bitch.
Hey, LB,
What up?
is it okay if I promote my channel real quick? I probably
Man, you good, man. You know what I'm saying? You good. You cool people's on here. You know what I'm saying?
hey y'all, I'm probably going live tomorrow, like probably like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Talking about social justice. If anybody wants to subscribe to my page, I'll get the notification. Follow your boy Lou the Rider Sports.
Okay.
Yeah, and tell your little bootlicking attorney general to get on his fucking job and stop being at the Republican National Convention and pussy licking Mitch McConnell's granddaughter. All right.
Like tomorrow, I'm trying to see if a buddy of mine gonna come on tomorrow. He's playing the NBA. If he does, y'all get to hear it. So
That's right.
Okay.
Hey, y'all motherfuckers try to play me like I was Nintendo just now, talking about putting on the G string and shit. What the fuck? I tell you, bro, y'all motherfuckers is wrong.
What's that song by Climax? Divas need love too. Divas need love too.
yeah, y'all heard about us beating up the weekend because of that song.
Yeah,
Oh, I heard about that.
Oh, you talking about Chris Brown beating the Weekend?
No, us beat up the weekend.
Oh yeah, that was Usher. That's who that was. Yeah.
Cause they met because he said the weekend said Usher stole his song Climax.
Then Usher did made a song with Climax with Rick Ross.
Yeah, so the weekend spending the weekend in the hospital, right? After Usher put that shit on him.
The first thing came to my mind when I heard about that happening. Like, what the weekend gonna be start singing that song on "Let It Burn," just like on the Boondocks.
No,
Hey man, I heard the parody song to that when motherfucker talk about ooh it burns, talk about catching the gonorrhea and shit and burning when they pee. Ooh it burns, ooh it burns.
Hey, but what they fail to realize though, LB, that dude Usher trained the box for that movie, Hands of Stone.
Yeah, well,
remember he played Chicken with Leonard in that Roberto Duran movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Hey man, the weekend should have used Wheels of Steel and got the fuck up out of there knowing he was gonna get that ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Take your ass back to Canada. You make good music the weekend, but take your ass back to Canada. Shit. You and Drake.
No, listen, this what I don't understand neither. We have all the talent in the world, and I don't knock nobody coming over here eating, but why you don't put your own people on? Because they don't want help sell out for that bag. But now you want to go over here to these foreign countries and get all this other talent, like we don't have talent in our own community.
Yeah.
I just thought, like, no, when Jay-Z pulled that shit
when Thomas can sing, she can act. You know what I'm saying? She could, take Queen Latifah's place in the next Set It Off movie.
Who?
You.
Shit. If I could, I wouldn't be on this doggone stream. I'd be in Hollywood. So.
hey, when you get to Hollywood, make sure you don't forget about the little people, all right?
If I'm gonna be in Hollywood, it's because of my writing. I'm writing my book.
Oh, okay. Hey, you got a book that hey, when you publish it, man, you know what I'm saying? You got the free you come on here and advertise it, whatnot. I support you.
I'm trying to debate if I want to make it a book or a screenplay.
Either way, I support
it. When that happens,
hey, whatever you do, baby, I got your back.
Oh yeah, I'm a hook up. I ain't gonna be one of them ones because I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it. I don't know what to do. So all I'm doing is just I always had imagination, and I'm like, what they say, whatever your gift is. I've always had this ever since I was a kid. Had stories in my head. I'm like, I guess put it on paper. That's what everybody else did. So that's what I'm gonna do myself.
Yeah,
and
it starts with that though. Well, now that you know that, it starts with imaginations and having dreams.
but mine is horror and science fiction. That's what I.
Hey, let me play the boogeyman.
Hey, remember how to that black girl who really wrote Terminator? They stole her on strip. She had to wait almost 10 to 12 years just to get her money.
Oh yeah.
I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
I
look
remember
that
that.
up.
That was bullshit, man. That's fuck. That's what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to come back in here and do another video on I want see and Too Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a video collab with if James, you want to come in on this too, man. You know what I'm saying? So the video collab I want to do, right, is about I want to talk about the levels of systemic racism, right, from a financial, from a educational, from a journalistic, and an economic. You know what I'm saying? Because all that plays a part in the systemic racism in America, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I think that's good dialogue and shit. You
Red
know,
line
Okay.
districts. You'll talk about
I'm with you
red
on that,
line
buddy.
districting,
huh?
about the housing market redlining, all that
Yeah, all
gentrification,
that gentrification, all that shit plays a part in it. You know,
and then also with the military that a lot of people they didn't get their uh GI Bill even though they served in the military. Right?
oh, I got mine. I made sure I got mine. Fuck
I'm
that.
talking about back then.
Oh yeah.
They
Back
didn't get their housing and some did, but not everybody got it. They had to wait later to get there because there was discrimination.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Too Raw, what you think about that?
As far as that being a good video idea.
No, the video. I want to do a video collab when we talk about the different levels of systemic
Oh
racism.
yeah, we could definitely do that. I mean, like you said, racism extends to so many different spectrums. I mean, it's really racism extends to everything. Really, I mean, it's basically racism is America. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's really very little that racism doesn't touch. It touches within our own community
Yeah.
because the
And when y'all
mindset we
talk,
have.
and when y'all
I'm
talk
not
about
talking
that,
about us, but
yeah.
collectively as a group, racism affects us, the way we treat each other sometimes. So it's like it permeates so many different things.
And when y'all talk about that, talk about the times like in Illinois, in California, in Chicago, how when they use their resources to try and get up for it's the lottery. The black people invented the lottery.
Yeah. It's just,
They call it numbers, but it was basically the Illinois lottery. That's what it was.
Right.
And they used that to get up ahead to get their own houses and start their own businesses and stuff like that. And they made it illegal because black people were getting ahead.
yeah.
And then until they turned it legal, but it was legal for to benefit them, but they took it out of black folks' hands.
Yep.
So we're gonna end it. So we're gonna end it here on that note. And tickets on live right now. We talk about LeBron James being a fraud when it comes to those whole things about boycotting.
When
I'm
has he
done.
ever did
I'm
a?
done with
When
LeBron
has he
James.
ever
Yeah.
did a? That's like a continuation. That's like a 4.5 point series for tickets.
No, because you know why, Wanetta? When the media do it every day, nobody don't say nothing.
I
But they don't
understand.
talk.
I understand. I
Nobody don't
understand.
talk about what
Yeah.
we talk about. So when you
Yeah.
have that much power, when you doing shit underneath the table, behind closed doors, sneaking behind people back, and now you got people that's gonna dissect certain stuff. This is a platform you gave people to speak on. So when people see certain stuff like that, I don't knock it and I don't like riding people like that. But if you all in the media every day, like I said, what else to talk about but the shit that you pulling on the people, pulling the rug from under people all the time. You trying to make it seem like you this person, but you not. Are you that person? But hey,
Yeah.
man, just be yourself, LeBron. Stop trying to go for clout chasing and for publicity, and just play the game you love that you claim you came up learning to love. You ain't got to do all that shit to keep your name irrelevant because your game supposed to talk for yourself. You doing more talking off the court, and other people doing more talking off the court for you. So that's why I have a problem with certain things that come about with this dude. Other than that, I don't got no problem with this dude. I don't want nobody to think I'm riding him like everybody else. But I will dissect the truth and what they're not talking about.
And that's what I had told Elder, and he's like, when he got on ticket, like you like he's trying to lie and say ticket was just hating. He just and ticket was like he was just reporting the fact. And Elder was like, well, I need to let me get in. You don't want me to get in. I was like, and I put in the comment, I don't want you to get in the conversation, Elder, because you're too biased. You're too biased towards LeBron. You don't want to hear. And he gonna say, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay. But it's been times where y'all heard me where y'all know my favorite player is Kawhi. And how many times have I got on Kawhi?
A
All the
bunch.
time.
all the time.
I've been honest about him, and I'll be honest about him. I think Kawhi is like Jordan when it comes to political issues. He don't really
Yeah.
want to be involved. He don't want to talk about it. He probably one of the ones that be in the corner. He was want to be his family. He want to be bought. But I can admit that about him. You know what I mean? But you don't want to admit that about the obvious stuff about about LeBron. I can at least I can admit I can show his flaws. I can promote his good and his bad.
Yep.
And I still like
Yeah.
Kawhi because nobody's human. Nobody's perfect. I mean, nobody's perfect.
Facts.
Just like I
Yeah.
still love MJ.
Definitely
I was
not. And we're gonna
disappointed.
end on
I
that
was
note.
I
So
was I was disappointed with MJ when I heard the Last Dance when he said that. But it is what it is. I ain't still gonna love MJ.
me too. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Holla at your boy. Oh!